Seth Sturgill and Matt Murray, you sit before this court today, having spoken determinedly false, uncouth, and downright disgusting statements on the Cave Story episode of your podcast, Bit Harmony. The falsehoods you promoted, and their spread to impressionable listeners the world over, is harmful, nay, dangerous to society, and I feel it would be irresponsible of me to not hand down the absolute maximum punishment my position allows. Frankly, I would gladly come down right now and strangle you both myself, if I were not merely an arbiter of justice. Do you have anything to say for yourselves before I render my final verdict?
If there's one thing I'll never apologize for, it's calling the evildoers evil. I said what I meant, I said what I believed to be good and decent, and I'm not sorry for it. Do your worst.
Ghouls in positions of power that go out of their way to hurt vulnerable people and actively make the world worse for everyone else in it deserve to be punished. If I have to forfeit my life in the hopes that more people recognize the gears grinding them to death, then so be it. I stand by all of it. Even the part where Seth compared Luigi Mangione to a little rabbit man with a sword.
Charlatans! Baboons! Absolute noodleheads! You're not being put on trial for inciting political violence. You're here today for the egregious grades you've been handing out to beloved Nintendo soundtracks on your puffed up little podcast. You leave me no other choice. For your crimes against humanity, good taste, and Koji Kondo, I sentence you both to death.
Here's to you, Seth Sturgill and Matt, sent to death like two dirty rats. They should have known it was a bit much to give Mario 2 a C-. Here's to you, Seth Sturgill and Matt, sent to death like two dirty rats. They should have known it was a bit much to give Mario 2 a C-. Here's to you, Seth Sturgill and Matt, sent to death like two dirty rats. They should have known it was a bit much to give Mario 2 a C-. Here's to you, Seth Sturgill and Matt, sent to death.
You're listening to Bit Harmony, a video game music podcast, and contrary to what you just heard, I am still alive, and my name is Matt Mouthful Mode Murray.
And yes, the reports of our deaths were greatly exaggerated. I'm still alive, and I am still Seth.
I was wondering if you're on the fly gonna try and go for something like Seth or something like a.
Oh, that would be good. I thought about doing like I did briefly consider doing like something about a Maxim tomato, but it lost steam in my head. That all happened over the past like 2 seconds.
Yeah, there's just a storm cloud of activity in your head for 2 seconds. Yeah,
a Krakow of activity, you might say.
Speaking of a Krakow of activity in your head, I didn't think about this till right this second, but if you had a mouthful mode, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know, probably something related to like coffee. Mm-hmm. I drink a lot of coffee, like definitely something related to like a beverage. Like my wife makes fun of me because we'll go to a restaurant, and y'all can let me know if this is crazy in like the Spotify comments or Patreon or whatever. But we'll go to a restaurant, and I like to have like a minimum 2 drinks. Like I'll order like a water and a soda, or I'll order a coffee and a water or something like that. Like I like to have at least 2 drinks. And then when we do like the podcast, I often have between 2 and 3 drinks with me doing the podcast. It's like when our dishwasher is like 90% like mugs most of the time. So yeah, something with that probably.
It'd be, I know you didn't bring up soda at all, but like a soda dispenser mouthful mode and like the different flavors do different things or something. That could be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got like 7 mugs in the sink just from this morning. Yeah, I know, I'm with you. I don't know if I always get like multiple drinks at a restaurant. I've done it before. I don't know if it's a common thing I do. But yeah, when we do this podcast, I've got water and coffee, and then sometimes later when the coffee's out, maybe if I need it, I'll grab a soda. I was also thinking for me something with like, I don't know, food related, like a frying pan, but I guess that would look a lot like the ring mouthful mode already. But it would shoot out like omelets or something. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Some fried eggs. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but that's what my wife has me make almost every day. Lately, it's been omelets. She's been on a big omelet kick right now. I feel like, remember in like the first couple seasons of Daredevil and like Kingpin ate an omelet every day, and that's how he gets so strong. But that's not happening with me. If anything, I'm getting weaker from all these omelets.
Anyway, at a big blank wall and eat an omelet. Yeah,
rabbit in a snowstorm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've already been off on one. What are we talking about today? Kirby and the Forgotten Land. That's why all the mouthful mode stuff is already happening. If you have no idea what the hell mouthful mode is, we'll get to it eventually. Just know that it's a Kirby thing. I have a feeling we're going to talk extensively about it. Anyway. The intro this episode is a trip to Alivel Mall from Kirby and the Forgotten Land. This was composed by Hirokazu Ando, and we will be back. You just heard a trip to Alivel Mall from Kirby and the Forgotten Land. This plays in the first, or not the first, it plays in the first mall level. It plays in like the 4th or 5th level of the first world of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you didn't really have time to revisit the game, but do you remember like your first playthrough? Like, do you remember the emotions and the feelings you were having on your first playthrough of Kirby and the Forgotten Land 3 years ago?
Yeah, well, I mean, wasn't this one of the levels that you could do in the demo, I think?
That sounds right, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I want to say the demo let you do this and the boss fight, if I remember right. Anyway, I could be wrong. Either way, yes, I remember, like, this is getting to the mall is one of the first times in the game for me that you kind of, I don't know, like really get the vibe of what this game really is, you know? You have a great like intro sequence and stuff like this, but like going to this sort of like dilapidated mall, getting that sense of like, I know the big joke is that Kirby and the Forgotten Land is like Kirby the Last of Us or something, but you know, It kind of does feel like that. Like you go to this mall that like clearly used to be like a very lively place, and stuff. And I mean, it's called Alivel Mall after all. And yeah, I don't know. Like it definitely felt different and unique. Like, and I'm sure we'll get into this in much more detail. But my favorite thing about Kirby and the Forgotten Land is like how much like environmental storytelling there is in the game, and how just like the tonality of the game and the like that game has a very particular and unique vibe for a Nintendo game, for a Kirby game, and for any game. And yeah, this level and this moment, I think, is the first time the game kind of shows its hand of like, here's kind of what you're in for.
Yeah, that's basically exactly what I remember feeling. Like, I was already in love with the game. Again, I've said this on the show before. Kirby's my favorite series. Forgotten Land is one of my favorite Nintendo games ever at this point. But yeah, Alivel Mall was the first time I really remember being like, oh damn, like this really is like the 3D Kirby I've been waiting for most of my life for. Yeah, the level is just cool. It's a cool combination of like powers or copy abilities that you get access to. I think it's mostly like ice and needle and ranger, if I remember correctly. Just like a nice mix of like kind of momentum based powers, but then yeah, you also get the ranger ability in there, which was new for this. I love, like you said, there's so much environmental storytelling like throughout the entire game. And yeah, like the first level of the game is like in an abandoned, clearly used to be populated cityscape. But yeah, there's something much more personal about navigating an abandoned mall. I guess just because like everyone has been to a mall before, and like I've even been to like basically empty malls. Hey, the mall in my hometown in Ohio, I think, is basically gone now.
Yeah,
which is funny because it spent the last like 15 years basically just being empty anyway. It's real weird to think about that malls aren't like
not really a thing.
In Europe they are. Like the mall right over here is constantly packed, and that was like a kind of a weird culture shock moment for me of like, oh, people actually like go shopping at the mall here. But yeah, it's there's something very like, this whole game has such a, like a melancholy and bittersweet vibe going on, but it's most evident to me in the places where like humans were like walking, and by that I mean the mall levels, or yeah, like all of Wondaria, which is the theme park world. Like it really, really, really feels like it's a place where people used to be, and like the music also reflects that. Like in this song, I didn't even notice in this song until this playthrough when I was listening with headphones. There's some very subtle, like sad, echoey vocal chants throughout. Like it really brings about the idea of like, yeah, this was a place that was full of people that is now abandoned. Like it feels so sad and empty, but also it's kind of happy because like there's a bunch of cute animals living in here now. It's just such a cool. It's such a cool concept. I always wanted a 3D Kirby, but I never was thinking about the theming of it, like what that would be. And, I guess they could have done this theming in a side-scrolling Kirby game and it would have been cool too. But I don't know, it really fits to the 3D and like the slightly more exploratory nature of the game.
Yeah, it definitely, I don't know, like I'm imagining that like in a 2D context, it definitely wouldn't hit the same. Like it wouldn't feel as, I don't know, textured or whatever. And yeah, like the song itself is, I mean, first of all, this game's soundtrack in general is such a treat to just like go back through the soundtrack. I've always loved it, but like kind of prepping for this episode, I was like, man, this soundtrack is just so damn good, and it just checks so many boxes for me. Like this song, you've got a great horn section, which like you already know is like is a bit harmony staple. This entire soundtrack has such that happy sad feeling that I always talk about. Like it's that's just what this soundtrack and this game in general is. There's like emotional like lifts in this song, especially in the bridge of this song has a great like emotional lift to it, and great little like drum fills that kind of feel like improvisational, and it's just, it has this way, it's like it's bouncy and fun, but yeah, like it does have a haunting quality with that like that kind of choral element you were talking about. It's good stuff, man. It's just a great moment, great game, good vibes.
It's also interesting because, yeah, it's clearly mostly trying to evoke like 80s and 90s mall sounds, like mall
Right.
music and stuff. But I also get like a hint of like 1950s, like welcome to the world of tomorrow, like
Sure.
nuclear family kind of stuff. But also the music still feels modern and like, oh, what a cool soundtrack. If I said this to you, this was the hardest soundtrack for me to like go through and pick out, cherry pick stuff.
Cherry pick, yeah.
Since Anodyne 2, which was literally our second episode. So like that's just how hard it was for me with this. But yeah, I don't know, I just thought this was a fun one to open with. Kind of like again with the game, this was the first level I really loved. So this is kind of we're just opening with this song as the first song from the first level that I really loved. Did you have any other notes about Welcome to Alivel Mall?
No, just really good stuff, and I can't wait to talk about more horns throughout the course of this episode.
There's a lot of horns, a lot of electric guitars too that I kind of forgot about. Yeah. When it comes to general housekeeping, we will get to our normal reviews and comments and whatnot in a second. But I figured at the top we should mention this, that next week we're planning on doing another Bit Harm Mini that is a mini Bit Harmony on the Earthblade soundtrack. Earthblade being the now canceled game from the Celeste devs. Lena Raine released what she had worked on of the soundtrack already. I've heard it. It's very good. It seemed like it's kind of like the perfect example of a Bit Harm Mini in that like there's not going to be anything to talk about but the music, basically,
Right.
and some of the stuff surrounding the cancellation, obviously. But there's no game to talk about. But this was music that was meant to be for a game soundtrack, so it should be the perfect Bit Harm Mini.
Yeah, I really wanted to give a little bit of respect to this because, like, I don't know, I thought it was actually really powerful, and I'm excited to actually like go and talk about it a little bit more in depth in that episode. It's pretty beautiful stuff, man, and it really does not have a lot of the like Lena Raine isms that I kind of come to expect from her, and so I found it very moving and surprising, and I was like, man, we really should make some space to just talk about this. So yeah, I'm excited to do that mini episode.
Yeah, I was shocked when you sent over word that this got released. How like it still sounds like Lena Raine music to me. I can still tell like the quality and stuff, but yeah, it lacks a lot of, I shouldn't say lacks, but yeah, it is absent of a lot of the things I associate with Lena Raine music. So yeah, it was exciting in that way. It really felt like she was trying to like stretch beyond her normal I don't know, language, her music language, and it's all now done for a canceled game,
Right.
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot to talk about for the fact that there is no game to actually talk about it with. But yeah, this is just a reminder though that Bit Harm Mini, they are behind the patron wall. That's at what, the $5 tier, correct?
Yeah, I got to be a Golden Banana or Triforce tier patron. You can get a 7-day free trial and check it out and see what you think. But yeah, you have to be at the $5 tier or above to get access to Bit Harm Mini. And yeah, I mean, look, what you could do is you could pick up the soundtrack on Bandcamp and listen through it yourself, and then hang out with us over on Patreon and, share some thoughts with us. So, yeah.
Yeah. I just figured it was also worth mentioning, reminding you that, the Slayers X episode, that was also a Bit Harm Mini, but it was on the free feed because we wanted to give you a taste of Bit Harm Mini. So,
That's
again,
right.
In the future, including the Earthblade episode, these will be behind a paywall. So pay up, sucker.
Pay up. That's right.
Speaking of paying up, actually that's not true at all, but we have reviews, correct?
Yeah, so I guess if you don't want to pay up, another great way to support the show is to review it on whatever service you listen to us on, whatever podcatcher you use, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever. They have a review system in place. And I want to thank Fulia specifically for rating the show on Spotify and letting us know in Discord, which is something you can totally do. Like, you can rate the show on Spotify and just kind of let us know, because ratings on Spotify are anonymous, and I'm happy to shout you out here on the show. So thank you, Fulia, for doing that. And I want to also say that something about something we said in the last episode must have worked, because we have had, on top of Fulia's rating, 2 additional Spotify ratings since the last episode. So thanks whoever left those as well. We appreciate it. Again, that's a just free, quick, and easy way to support the show. We've also got some comments to get into here, and I'm curious how you'll feel about this. This was actually a comment left on the Patreon post of the last episode from Wilk. Wilk says, 100% agree about the creators of Silk Song and Celeste. The burden one bears for being a genius is remarkable. Makes me wonder how the creators of Uncrustables keep going on. Heavy stuff.
Speaking of people that should be sentenced to death for their crimes, we got the No, I'm mostly exaggerating. I've never had an Uncrustable. I would eat one if it was in front of me. I'm not above it. Yeah. Yeah, one day it will happen.
One fateful day.
I mean, even though it was in service of the bit and just cramming in another Uncrustables reference, we'll be stuck in this Uncrustable hell. We will be crustabled for the rest of our lives on this podcast. I do appreciate this. I do appreciate the sentence, the burden one bears for being a genius is remarkable. It's very, like, I can imagine him, like, tapping his fingers together with, like, glasses on while writing that sentence, while eating an Uncrustable.
Yeah, I had an Uncrustable this morning after the gym, I'll have you know. And it was good.
Do they come in different jelly flavors? I've only ever seen grape.
There's a strawberry. There is a, I think, peanut butter and honey version.
Ooh, okay.
And there's also a Nutella version of Uncrustables. Yeah.
Well, then maybe they do have Uncrustables here. These Europeans, they damn love some Nutella over here.
Yeah. Well, I don't blame them. I like it too. It's not the kind of thing, you can't have it all the time, but I like it too.
Yeah, it's funny. I like Nutella quite a lot too, but yeah, I would much, if you asked me, would you rather have peanut butter or Nutella, like on bread or something? 9 times out of 10, yeah, Nutella's just like a little too much for me.
It's chocolate, dude. Like, it's dessert.
Right. Yeah.
But I do like it. It's good.
Yeah, Nutella's good. I like Nutella a lot. Did you have any thoughts on the cave story episode? I feel like you probably do, but we haven't talked about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, perhaps the wokest episode of Bit Harmony yet. No, I didn't expect, needless to say, I didn't expect that episode to go the places that it did. But I'm proud of it. Like, I'm glad that we, that we said what we said, and the conversation went where it went. I never really know, like, where things are going to go when we sit down to record Bit Harmony, but no, it was a good one, and it was great to kind of think about that game again and to think about that music again. One thing that I like, you never know, like, which episodes are going to resonate with people or get, like, the most community engagement. And for whatever reason, I didn't think that Cave Story would be the one to really, like, people seemed really buzzing about Cave Story, you know?
Yeah, so. I also was not expecting that. In hindsight, it makes perfect sense in that,
right?
Like, it was a freeware game, and, like, probably most people that hung out on the internet that are our age probably played it in its freeware form, right? So, like,
right.
That makes sense to me that so many people would have opinions about Cave Story, but yeah, I just didn't, I wasn't thinking about that going in. It was just like truly, I think that's like the most people have talked about something Bit Harmony related in the Discord, maybe again since Anodyne 2.
Yeah, I mean the Discord chat was lit up over Cave Story, I would say. And that was a pleasant surprise. I was like, oh man, like other people still think about this. And I mean, I guess it's telling. I mean, we did that episode kind of when Parker called in about it, and Parker, I don't know how old Parker is, but I get the sense that Parker is much younger than us. And it's like, okay, like Cave Story still kind of perseveres 20 years later.
Well, and you know what's interesting is, I don't know if you remember this detail, Parker said that he never played the game, but he's just heard the music. So like that is also an interesting facet of the whole thing. And then poor Parker requesting that episode then has to hear us go off about Luigi Mangione when he just wanted to hear okay.
I didn't think about that until you just said that. That is so funny, dude. Parker's like, what? He's like, I had no idea this is what I was getting myself into, dude. That's so funny, man. Oh my god. I appreciate that episode so much more now, knowing that just like poor Parker. Oh goodness. Anyway, it was good. I'm glad that we did that episode. I'm proud of it.
yeah. I mean, we've basically said everything I wanted to say about it. I'll just note that, I think that was like the best episode. It's the episode I feel like I shouldn't say that because I'm also very proud of the hypnospace stuff too. But like, I don't know. I'm that cave story one feels really good to me in a way that I wasn't.
I think.
Yeah, if I can toot my own horn, I feel like we've been on kind of a roll the last like at least month or so.
I think
so hopefully we can keep that going with Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Before we get to that though, we have what has become the most contentious part of our show, the state of the Nintendo Music address. The past 2 weeks, we've gotten Super Mario Brothers 3, and then today, in fact, the day we're recording, we got Tetris NES, Tetris Game Boy, and Dr. Mario all dropped on the same day, which that was already kind of a surprise, but we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
What a pleasant little treat. That's the first time they've uploaded multiple things on the same update day, right?
I think so. Yeah, I don't think they've ever dropped. I mean, aside from like the initial sort of batches.
Right.
I don't think they've ever dropped like 3 at once like that. Yeah.
So, we'll talk about Mario 3 first. Again, this is Mario 3, so don't take anything I'm about to say too personally, Sean. This was composed by Koji Kondo. There's not much else for me to really say about it. It's Mario 3. I will say, a thing I've always found underrated about Mario 3 soundtrack is how cool the world map themes are. Because you don't hear them as often as the level themes, like the athletic theme and whatever.
Right.
But there's, Mario has had like reggae inspiration from the beginning, but you really see it in Mario 3's world map themes. I think it's World 7 in particular has such a reggae beat to it.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I love reggae in video game form. I've always loved the World 7 map in Mario 3. The Hospital in Earthbound is like a top 10 video game song of all time for me. I love the hell out of that song. So, unlike, last week's or the last couple weeks of Nintendo music drops, I actually did add some things to like my favorites playlist from Mario 3, and but that said, it was all like world map themes,
I mean, I even really like the whenever you would like fight the Hammer Bros, like the battle music and stuff, and like the thing that really captured my imagination when I was a kid playing that game was like the emphasis on like the expansion of Mario's world and like the enemies in particular. And like the airship music was a big part of that, and I know that like this sort of stuff is quite ubiquitous now, but yeah, I mean, Mario 3 is a special game to me. Again, I would have wrote this off as being another kind of like we were talking about before, like this probably should have just been there to begin with, but it is still Mario 3. And I, spoilers, I still like it a lot, but ultimately not that interesting. The drops that we got this morning, I found much more interesting.
Yeah, I'm with you for a couple of reasons. I mean, we don't need to spend a ton of time on Tetris. We did a whole Tetris Effect episode that is 4 hours long, and we talked at least a little bit about Tetris NES and stuff. So, hey, the Tetris soundtrack is awesome. It is worth noting all 3 of these games were composed by Hirokazu Tanaka. But yeah, out of like the past like month of Nintendo music updates, honestly, Dr. Mario is my favorite. And even that said, there's only really a couple songs on this thing anyway.
Right.
it just turns out that Chill is one of the most interesting like NES songs of all time.
Agreed. Yeah, I love that song, and weirdly enough, the song makes me think more of WarioWare than it does Dr. Mario. Like that when I hear that song, I think about playing 9 volts games in WarioWare, because like you just can, Dr. Mario is just one of the games that can pop up, and it just plays like that little like first bit of the melody from Chill after the song like really kind of gets going. And so I always think of playing 9 volts games in WarioWare when I hear it. I don't associate it to Dr. Mario. Fever is the one that I associate way more to Dr. Mario itself, but either way, just great songs, man. And I gotta say too, for what it is, I mean, Tetris NES, great soundtrack. Shout outs to Music 3 from Tetris NES, a very interesting, like layered song for an NES game. I want to shout out, though, that the Game Boy Tetris soundtrack includes, the one they uploaded to NSO, to Nintendo Music rather, includes like the early version A-type song, like before they moved to the classic version. When it came to the US, they essentially like, brought that over with this like kind of the theme song that everybody knows from Tetris, and that kind of forever became the Tetris theme. But before it came over to the US, it very briefly had a different song altogether, and that is included in this drop, and it was really cool to hear. I don't think I'd ever heard it before.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
So yeah, that is really neat. Like, again, we talked about before, that's the kind of stuff I want to see out of the Nintendo Music app, like, if, on its own, Tetris Game Boy, like, that doesn't excite me. Like, if that had been the only drop this week, and if they hadn't included that extra song, it wouldn't really have been notable. But because of those small little things, the fact that they bundled together 3 puzzle games, all with very small soundtracks, and included that little tiny extra song, yeah, that's awesome. That's way more interesting to me,
Yeah, I want to also say, before I reveal my letter grade for this drop, I want to also just formally acknowledge that I was too kind on the last episode. I do want to walk that back a little bit. I'm not going to revise my score. I'm going to let my score stand. It is, chiseled into the eternal rock of bit harmony, and that's fine. But we had a heated discussion in the Discord about this. And I do think that in retrospect I was too kind. So moving forward, I do want to be a little bit harsher with my grades. With that being said, this did ebb into the B's for me, and I think I'm just going to give this a flat B for me personally.
Okay, I was debating between C+ and B-. I think with what we just talked about, I think I'll go with B-. I think even though there isn't like a ton of stuff that I, again, would listen to on its own, it's more about the historical value and the optics of it, as much as Sean might not like to hear that when I mention it.
Right, because Mario 3, they did that for Mario Day, effectively. So that also matters,
And I think I said this in the Discord, if they had just bundled together like Mario 2, Mario 3, and Mario World and released them all on Mario Day, that again would have just been, it would have been, like, I understand why you're doing it and it makes sense, right? But like, just giving me Mario 2 randomly it just doesn't do much for me, So yeah, I appreciate that it felt like these past 2 weeks they put more like effort into it. Again, also to emphasize, it's not like these grades are super serious or anything. And
just
I'm sure the Nintendo Music, like the people that work on Nintendo Music, is like 2 people in like a closet at Nintendo headquarters. So it's not like I'm trying to judge them too harshly either. But I appreciate it. And yeah, the inclusion of that Tetris Game Boy song, that's really damn cool. And yeah, that's again what I want to see more of.
Agreed. Give me more like unreleased stuff, or like stuff that like I would not have known. That, I guess that's my big takeaway, and the reason I put this at B is like, yeah, I would not have known about that song if it weren't for Nintendo Music. I want that sense of discoverability to be in there, that like that's what I'm really looking for, and I don't get any of that from just like let's just throw Mario 2 in there. Like I don't get that from that. That feeling alone, it made me happy, you know, so I have to acknowledge that.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you. And yeah, that's why I get excited about like when they're dropping Brain Age and stuff on here, because I've never even listened to those soundtracks before. But yeah, I think it was an improvement over the past couple weeks. I'm glad. I'm glad we got to have a positive one of these for the first time in a while. I'll also note, yeah, you revising your score, not revising, but revisiting it. That was after the harshest words I've ever seen Shy Guy type in my life. He was not happy about the Nintendo Music drop.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? Like after reading his thoughts on it, that was when I was like, damn, you know, he's right. Like I think he said something to the effect of like that wouldn't have ranked higher than a D for me or something like that, and that's being generous. And I was like, oh man.
And you know, he is a teacher. He's taught for like 20 years or something. Like he's the authority on grades.
He grades all the time. Like that's what he does. So that was really what kind of made me take a look at myself and really kind of made me think like when it comes to the state of the Nintendo Music Address, I think I do need to be a little more harsh. Yeah.
Yeah, we need more conviction in
standards.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Anyway, let us go on our next break then. We're going to play you Abandoned Beach and Welcome to Wandaria. Abandoned Beach was composed by Jun Ishikawa, and Welcome to Wandaria, also composed by Jun Ishikawa. I should have read ahead a little bit before speaking. And we will be back, and we'll start talking about some Kirby in the Forgotten Land. That was Abandoned Beach and Welcome to Wandaria, again, both from the Kirby and the Forgotten Land soundtrack. Abandoned Beach is the first level music of the second world, which, as you might guess, is beach themed. I forgot to mention on the Alivel Mall song that most of the songs that we picked for this episode, when I was listening to them, I was like, damn, is this my favorite song of the soundtrack? And like every time I listen to another song, I'm like, no, wait, this is my favorite one.
Sure, yeah.
And yeah, Abandoned Beach, I had that moment multiple times. This is probably a top 3 in the game for me. I talked about Alivel Mall was the first like level I really loved in the game. But yeah, Abandoned Beach was the first time to me in the game where it really felt like the Kirby DNA was fully meshed with like the 3D world, kind of isometric 3D platformer design. Partially because I think Kirby always does beach music incredibly well.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of series, like, I think of like JRPGs do ice music really well or whatever. But like when I think of Kirby, I often am thinking of like the beach music. Like I think of Kirby's Epic Yarn had really good beach music and stuff. But yeah, I just loved, like, immediately when you go to this level, it is so damn blue and sunny. Like the ocean and the sky are both blue. There are giant crocodiles swimming around, or gators. I think they're gators. It just does such a good job of capturing the beach vibes. Also, it's the first level with Hammer in it, and Hammer is one of my all-time favorite Kirby copy abilities. Like this, again, I loved Alivel Mall. I loved the whole first world of this game. But yeah, Abandoned Beach, this is the first level that I'm like I was all in on this game. I think I remember on launch day watching you stream it, and I came in right when you got to this level. I was like, yes, he's streaming Abandoned Beach.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's that good stuff. That's that moment when, because then, as cool as like the first world is, and it's kind of getting you into like the tonality of what Kirby and the Forgotten Land is. Abandoned Beach and all this stuff is like, right, but it is still a Kirby game. Like this does still have all the stuff you're looking for. And like, this song is so vibey to me that I actually have almost no notes about like the song itself, just the way it makes me feel. My first note, and this, I don't know if anybody else feels this way. Do you ever like listen to a song and you can associate it with like a color or a taste or something like that? Like, I don't know if this makes any sense at all, but my first note is this song tastes like a mango pineapple smoothie.
I think that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Like that's how I kind of feel. It just makes me feel happy, nostalgic. It reminds me of like we used to go to Kentucky every summer for my family reunion on my grandmother's side, and we used to do these massive pool parties. There would be like 50, 60 people there, and just like big old barbecue. People are making brisket and ribs and stuff. And like, that's what this song makes me feel like. But there's also like, they bring in strings into the song that really gives it like a Wii system music kind of vibe that I really, I mean, anybody who knows anything about me, like I love Wii system music, and it gives it that kind of like vibe to it as well. So yeah, like this song checks a lot of my boxes, and I'm with you. Like, yeah, it feels like the first time where it's kind of like, right, like we're still doing our Kirby thing in this game. Despite it being this brave new world, this new perspective, we are still doing our Kirby thing here.
Yeah, see, you saying that you associate it with like a mango kind of flavor, I associate it, and I understand why. I associate it with like a black raspberry kind of thing.
Oh.
Specifically because there's a local ice cream place that is only open in the summer in my hometown in Ohio. We keep bringing up my hometown in Ohio this episode. Archie's. And yeah, I would always get a black raspberry sundae from there. And like that is summer to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like that's how good this level captures the summer vibes. And yeah, the song itself. Yeah, I don't have too many notes on it. If I have one specific note, I love the horns coming in around 57 seconds. I also love that there's like some flutes right after that too. It just the whole time replaying this, I haven't replayed this game in this game is 3 years old now. I haven't replayed it in probably around a year and a half. I think I played it at least a little bit right after Return to Dreamland Deluxe came out because I was in such a Kirby mood.
Yeah.
But I didn't play through the whole thing. But yeah, there's just something about, like, from this point onwards, I just have like a huge smile on my face for basically the entire rest of the game when playing Forgotten Land. So Abandoned Beach is that's like the catalyst for the smile. So I have to give it major props for being the thing that like really sells me on the Kirbiness of it all, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to Welcome to Wandaria, I really don't have that many notes about it, despite the fact that I think like musically it is one of the most interesting songs in the game. But the main thing I take away from Wandaria is just how damn cute it is.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm also just associating it with like right when you get into the level, you're right at the entrance of the theme park, and it just looks so pleasant and cute, and you're rescuing baby ducks and taking them back to their mom.
The ducks, man.
The ducks.
The
I saw
ducks.
when looking for YouTube comments, I saw a lot of comments about the ducks. Yeah, it's so interesting how like there's a guitar right at the beginning, but it's so like distorted and warbly. Like I never hear that kind of stuff. I never hear that kind of, and I get it. It's meant to sound like loudspeakers at a theme park, but it's so interesting. Like I never hear music like that in video games, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like that kind of like surf guitar, like that kind of like rockabilly, like 50s kind of vibe to it. That it's got that kind of thing going on. And yeah, like I love that level in general. Like the ducks, I think, are such a great representation of just that level and like the tone that this song conveys. Like this feeling of, I mean, this is a lot of what we said about Alivel Mall too, but like this was an amusement park that used to have a lot of life in it, and now it's kind of been taken back by nature. This family of ducks is still here though, and in a weird way, it's almost like you can imagine like human families like enjoying the amusement park, but like now that nature's taken it back over, it's like these duck families have too, you know? And there's a part of me that really, whenever we would go to amusement parks when I was a kid, we'd go to like Six Flags Great America or something up by Chicago, and like I would be terrified of getting separated from my parents. Like the whole time I would be so scared that like my parents were gonna like go too far and I was gonna get lost or kidnapped or whatever. And I think of that anytime, like I make it my personal mission to make sure those ducks are okay. Like anytime I play it. Another cool thing that I actually didn't realize until I was like re-listening to it and looking at some of the YouTube comments, this works in the Moonlight Capital theme from Triple Deluxe. A little movement around 119 is where you first hear it. And that is so cool. Like, I love it whenever, and Kirby does this all the time, but like whenever they can work like themes from other games, especially climactic moments in other games, that they can kind of work into almost like normal level music in another game is really neat. And this song does that too.
Yeah, I saw those same comments, and I had no idea. To be fair, like Triple Deluxe is one of like the lesser known, or not known, but like I've only played through that whole game once.
Right.
I really liked it a lot at the time. Actually, it's no like Return to Dreamland or like Robobot, but
right.
I still really liked it a lot. But yeah, I never noticed that. You know, it's funny. There's all these rumors right now about a Robobot Deluxe coming to Switch, which that's great. I think Robobot is still my favorite Kirby game, period. But I was really hoping they'd do like a Triple Deluxe and Robobot like double pack.
Me too.
I mean, it's Nintendo, so I should know not to get my hopes up for that. From a gameplay Kirby nerd perspective, I just really wanted them to like have both games in one engine. Yeah, and that like they would have like abilities from Robobot in Triple Deluxe and vice versa. Like I want to have the Beetle power in Robobot and stuff. Yeah. I would love that, but we'll talk more about like gameplay specific Kirby nerdiness. I have a lot to say about copy ability, so everyone get ready, get your
Lock in.
sit down for this one, I guess. Yeah, I know what you mean. I had no idea that they were using that song, like rearranging it here until the YouTube comments. That's also a fun thing about YouTube comments, and a big part of why I like covering YouTube comments on this show is learning stuff like that, because I absolutely never would have realized that otherwise.
Right. Sometimes they'll, like, you know, a lot of people that are going into the YouTube comments and talking about Kirby music are the people who are like way more locked in on that kind of thing. And, you know, people who have been like obsessively looking at this stuff for, you know, long, like just the fandom who is like very into this sort of thing and notice little stuff like that. And I notice stuff like that with things like Zelda or Mario whenever they do callbacks and stuff like this, but it's not often for Kirby. And it was cool. Like, it was a neat little detail. I'm like, oh man, what a well-considered little thing. Yeah.
Also, yeah, this is composed by Jun Ishikawa. I assume he was probably the lead composer on Triple Deluxe also.
I assume so too. Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't look that up ahead of time. But did you have any other notes on Welcome to Wandaria?
No, just really good stuff. Just again, I mean, it's going to be interesting. One of these days we should just look and like see what we think is like the best episode musically that we've had, you know?
Yeah, I can tell you right at the top of my head, for me, it's Anodyne 2, this, and like Dust Force. I think those are my three picks.
Yeah, that's the thing. I listening to this music, I'm like, this is instantly one of the best, like musically one of the best episodes we've done.
You know what's funny though? I was doing a gentleman's agreement with myself to not bring this up, but I will always remember the snub at the All-In Golden Aces. All the Kirby snubs, because a little known game called Xenoblade Chronicles 3 came out the same year as Kirby and the Forgotten Land. And
now here's the deal.
It was snubbed in every category.
Well, here's the thing about the soundtrack for Xenoblade 3, and the reason that we wound up giving that the win is because of the amount of work. And this is a big reason why there will never be a Xenoblade Chronicles 3 episode of Bit Harmony. There is that soundtrack has like 300 songs on it or something, and it's all excellent. And so like the volume of it is what really kind of, I think, elevated it for us. But yeah, it's tough, man. You know, when you look at some of this stuff, like as a coherent body of work, it's hard to beat.
I'm not even that upset about the music. From what I've heard of Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I get it. Also, I've played the other Xenoblade games, so I also get it from that perspective.
They're great.
I'm mostly upset about the narrative snub.
Oh, sure. Yeah, sure. I mean, look, dude, you have to take it up with the other half of that.
Look, I invited you on this podcast for a very specific reason, and it's to just beat you up over your past mistakes.
Yeah, he has the brass knuckles on. Look, I have a hunch that like I have quite a bit to say about the narrative of this game, but look, like one man's love of King Dedede cannot sustain, does not an award show make. You know.
With all that said, let's actually start talking about some Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Kirby and the Forgotten Land was released March 25th, 2022 for the Nintendo Switch. Also, I forgot to make it apparent earlier, but we are specifically timing this episode around its 3-year anniversary. That's why we're doing it when we're doing it. Most notable about this game is that it is indeed the first mainline, traditional, platformer-esque Kirby game to be in 3D, not side-scrolling.
Right.
This was directed by Shinya Kumazaki and Tatsuya Kamiyama. Shinya Kumazaki has been the main director of the series since Superstar Ultra on the DS, and has kind of become like the series steward at this point, you know? And look, as a longtime Kirby fan, personally speaking, Kumazaki is the best thing to happen to the series, like ever, basically, to me at least. He really, really brought about a renaissance of Kirby. I've talked about it before, but to me, especially like the GBA era of Kirby, I was just really kind of checked out. Like, you know, I like Nightmare and Dreamland or whatever for what it is, but it's still like it was a remake of Adventure. Also, I kind of like the original Adventure more than Nightmare and Dreamland anyway. And we don't need to talk about Amazing Mirror, the less said the better.
Yeah.
But yeah, he came in with Superstar Ultra, which is a remake of Superstar on the Super Nintendo, which up to that point was my favorite game in the series. I think probably most people's favorite Kirby game up to that point, you know. But again, that's always kind of like a sign of stagnation, where it had been like 15 years and everyone's favorite was still the Super Nintendo game, you know?
Right.
So, like, somehow none of the Kirby games between Superstar and Superstar Ultra bothered revisiting the concept of each copy ability having a whole suite of moves. Like, in other games, when you get fire, you get the fire copy ability, all you can do is, like, blow fire. Or when you get sword, all you can do is do a couple sword slashes. It was Superstar and Superstar Ultra that gave Kirby a whole move set with every ability, or nearly every ability that he has. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, basically, just think of Kirby Superstar as like the predecessor to Smash. Like, it's all like determined by like what direction you're pressing plus the attack button, basically. It really is, in a lot of ways, the predecessor to Smash Bros.
Definitely.
And after Superstar, they just like abandoned that concept and never revisited it, you know? And that was always, it genuinely drove me crazy. Like, as a teenager and even as a kid, I'm like, why don't they go back to that? Like, it's so much more interesting when Kirby has a whole suite of moves with every copy ability, you know? So Kumazaki is the one that brought that style back by remaking Superstar Ultra. And that was, again, that was the start of this Kirby renaissance, because that led into Return to Dreamland, which was like the first new side-scrolling Kirby game on console in a very long, since the N64 at that point. And it brought back giving Kirby a whole suite of moves for every ability. So already, Kumazaki had my heart at that point. But he's also the voice of Dedede, much like Masahiro Sakurai was the voice of Dedede in Smash Bros. And Kirby 64.
Right.
Not only that, though, he sampled his cat Tom for the final boss of Planet Robobot. Though I did find out that Tom sadly passed away in 2017. But at least he'll always live on as the final boss of Planet Robobot.
That's really nice, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually super cool. He also has a public Instagram where he posts like digital art that he creates. It's almost all like cosmic horror eldritch stuff, including some Kirby boss renditions. And I know that might sound weird if you're not familiar with Kirby, and we will talk about Kirby lore at some point here, but Kirby lore is very deep. And it has a lot of like cosmic horror elements to it. And yeah, it really feels like Kumazaki was the one who really started bringing that all to the forefront. Like, that Kirby emphasizing its lore unobtrusively really started with him and Return to Dreamland. At least that's how it felt like to me. I don't know if you have any other opinions about that.
No, yeah, I would agree. I mean, I guess for me, like, I was never as into Kirby certainly as much as you, but my pathway with Kirby was like I'd played some of that like early stuff, like NES, Super Nintendo Kirby games, and liked them, but it wasn't it wasn't until Superstar that I like really got into it, and I was like, okay, like now we're cooking. And yeah, I don't think I played any of the like GBA stuff at all. I played Superstar Ultra, really liked it. But then I didn't get back into Kirby in a serious way until Return to Dreamland on the Wii. Like, that was kind of, and that kind of like ushered in like this kind of new, or at least for a while, like that sort of Dreamland, Triple Deluxe, Robobot. I played like Mass Attack on the DS and really liked it. Played some of the spin-offs and stuff, but I don't know, like I felt like my relationship with Kirby, I felt like, was a little more flirtatious than like love until really like the Wii era and like Triple Deluxe and Robobot. That's when I started really kind of appreciating Kirby a lot more as a series. I was never one of these people that just wrote it off because like there are a lot of people who just write it off and say that it's too easy or that it's for babies or whatever. And I've never subscribed to that idea. But the big thing that I've always loved about Kirby was King Dedede, man, and we'll talk more about him as we get a little bit deeper. But one thing that I really appreciate about Kirby is the lore, and you've made this point before, and I think hearing you talk about Kirby over the years that we've known each other has made me appreciate it so much more, because there are a lot of Nintendo fans that get frustrated that Nintendo does not like lean into the implicated lore of a lot of their franchises. Like, as somebody who has written dozens of Mario fanfics over the course of his life, that's the stuff that the fans have to put in there. It's not in the game itself. And like, I think it might have been like we were having either a private conversation or maybe we were on a podcast, and I think like we were talking about that, like the frustration with Nintendo not really like leaning into the story of some of these franchises, and you just said kind of, like just very plainly, you're like it's Kirby. Like Kirby is the Nintendo franchise that has the great visuals, the great music, that has the lore that you're looking for, that has all of this stuff that you're frustrated about with other Nintendo properties is in Kirby, and so anyway, I remember like you saying that wherever it was or however it was that you said it, and it did kind of reframe and give me a little bit of a deeper appreciation, I think, for Kirby as a franchise afterwards. So it's cool. Like, it's cool that this dude is kind of like, he knows that about Kirby too, and he really has like carried that forward. And I would say that Kirby is like more popular probably now than like really it's ever been. You see things like the cafe and and all this stuff, and like every game. I mean, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, I think, was the best-selling game in the whole franchise. So
right, which previously that was held by the original Kirby's Dream Land on Game Boy. Like the series had never surpassed the original until Forgotten Land. That can obviously be attributed to multiple things. Obviously, the Switch factor, like basically every Nintendo series got a huge boost on Switch. Also, this being like the super big anticipated first 3D Kirby games. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on that can contribute to that. But yeah, at the end of the day, to me, this is just like the second or first best Kirby game there is, period. So it's like, it's well deserving of the sales regardless of all that. But yeah, I do remember having that conversation with you, and I don't remember if that was on a podcast or whatever. But yeah, like, I love the world of Kirby, and yeah, we're talking about like the lore and stuff. It's not like the story that's presented to you isn't ever that super deep either. It's just like there is stuff in the background, usually in pause screens or like trophy descriptions, that you can like go into and read and like just get like a little bit more context for things happening around you. Why is all of a sudden the end boss of Kirby in the Forgotten Land turning into Neon Genesis Evangelion? Well, if you look in the pause descriptions, you actually will learn why. Or even in this case, you could just pay attention to like some of like the dialogue and stuff. Like, there actually is reasoning for this. It's not just for like bombast and like set piece stuff. Like, there is actually a reason why the final boss is like some weird psychic angel throwing like asteroids at you, Yeah, also worth noting, the other director, Tatsuya Kamiyama, I couldn't find much about him, but he apparently was specifically brought on for helping HAL developers create a fully 3D game, because I never thought about it, but yeah, they had never done that before,
Interesting, yeah.
So yeah, makes sense, and yeah, I'm very excited to see where they go with the next Kirby game. Besides, obviously, if there's a Robobot thing, that aside, I just want to see what they do with the next new Kirby game, but we'll talk about that in a little bit too, I imagine. On the composer side of things, we kind of have like a Kirby dream team here. We've got Yuta Ogasawara was the main lead on this, who is relatively new to the franchise. He's only a couple of years older than I am. We had Hirokazu Ando and Jun Ishikawa, who are both Kirby mainstays composition-wise. We talked about them both on the Kirby Canvas Curse episode. And then we had Yuki Shimoka, who is like a little baby. He was born in like 1996. He gets to make Kirby music now. Yeah. And yes, I'm aware, like 28 years old, like, yeah, that's a baby. That's how old I am now.
Yeah, we're there. Yeah.
I think from what I could find, all four of these people have basically only worked on HAL stuff when it comes to game music. Again, we already talked about Hirokazu Ando and Jun Ishikawa on the Kirby Canvas Curse episode. Like I said, Yuta Ogasawara was the lead on this, as well as Kirby's Dream Buffet, which that also has a killer soundtrack.
I like that game.
That game
I'm sorry,
rules.
I like that game.
No, there's no need to apologize. That game rules. Besides that time you beat me because of a leg spike or whatever.
I was gonna say, I think that's the maddest at me you've ever been, and that was a pretty good moment.
It's pretty funny in hindsight, but at the time it was not. Ogasawara's first work was on Kirby Star Allies, actually, which it's worth noting. You know, Kirby Star Allies gets kind of a bad rap nowadays. I think it kind of did at launch too, and you know, I get it. It is the worst of the modern Kirby games, but I will say the soundtrack is fantastic in that game,
and the lore.
Yes, it has maybe my favorite lore in all of the Kirby games, which is saying a lot. And then Yuki Shimuka's first work was Kirby Fighters 2, which it's funny. That is an eShop exclusive, you know, a spin-off of a minigame in like Planet Robobot or something. I forgot until I think Eric mentioned it on a podcast on All In a while ago that this was actually a roguelite, at least if you're playing the single player mode.
Right.
So the Splatoon Side Order DLC was actually not the first Nintendo roguelite. It is actually it is Kirby Fighters 2. Don't you forget it.
Yeah.
And Kirby Fighters 2 is just a Kirby themed like Smash Bros thing. If I'm honest, it's not very good, but it is interesting that it was a roguelite.
Eric played a lot of that game. I think Eric put like 80 hours into that game or something crazy like that.
That's pretty crazy, but again, I put like 50 hours into Dream Buffet, so who am I to talk?
Me too. I 100% a Dream Buffet, dude.
Yeah, Dream Buffet ruled, man. I will hear nothing otherwise. Yuki Shimuka also worked on Kirby Dream Buffet and was the lead on Return to Dreamland Deluxe. And like I mentioned, is indeed a little baby born in 1996. So yeah, like I said, it's just kind of an interesting mix of the like old Kirby guard and then this new young blood when it comes to the music. Yeah, which ends up fitting like the theme of Forgotten Land a little bit, right? Like this is a new era of Kirby that we're entering, but we're being ushered in with the help of the old guard.
I like that point a lot. Yeah. It's cool whenever like that assume that that's an intentional choice too, right? Like that feels like the kind of thing that Nintendo is actually doing quite a bit more regularly in the Switch era, which for all of the, you know, like grief that I can give Nintendo about some of their decisions in the Switch era and some of the things that have happened, I do think that they have been conscious about that sort of thing, about getting like some new blood in there, because a lot of the people like Shigeru Miyamoto, that dude's like 80 years old or something now. And they're like, yeah, like we probably can't like that. We'll just send that dude around to amusement parks and stuff like that. And that'll probably be okay. You know, a lot of these people are like retirement age. So they do have to get like some new blood in there. And I think it's really cool that we've seen a lot of that in the Switch era.
Yeah, I think Nintendo in the past, the whole Switch generation has done such a good job of reinventing like basically all of their series. When even Pikmin 4 was a pretty big reinvention of the Pikmin formula, that's when you know like, yeah, they're seriously considering all of these games for reinvention, right? Like, yeah, it's really cool. As stated, Forgotten Land is the first mainline game in the series with 3D gameplay. Obviously, I'm aware of Kirby's Air Ride and stuff like Kirby Blowout Blast that were also 3D, but again, Kirby's Air Ride is like a racing spin-off kind of thing, and Kirby Blowout Blast was just like a little kind of isometric puzzle game.
It wasn't really 3D. I liked it, but it wasn't really like truly 3D.
Yeah, like it's polygonal and Kirby moves. It was almost like overhead, if I remember correctly. I 100% of that thing, and I liked it, but yeah, it wasn't like, it was also tile-based, I think. So yeah, it really wasn't like full-on 3D. It was, again, it is a cool game. I guess too bad you can't buy it now because the 3DS eShop isn't up, but
yeah, it sucks.
It was a cool little thing for what it was. But yeah, what that means is this was the first one, this Forgotten Land was the first one that kept the brawler/platformer hybrid gameplay of side-scrolling Kirby games and the copy abilities and converted it to 3D. What's interesting, I remember noting back in like 2018 that this had to be where the series was going. Like it felt like it was finally time. And yeah, looking back at like interviews and stuff, you could really see that this is where they were headed. Again, Shinya Kumazaki was talking pretty soon, I think in like 2019 or 2020, talking about how the next Kirby game would be the quote next phase of Kirby and a culmination of the series. And again, Star Allies, for all its other problems, really to me, even before knowing Forgotten Land existed, Star Allies felt kind of like a send-off of the series proper. Like it felt like the I don't know, like a fan service game once all the free updates were done and they added like a dozen extra playable characters from across the whole series. It really felt like kind of a farewell to the side-scrolling Kirby gameplay. Obviously not like a permanent goodbye. You know, again, we got Return to Dreamland Deluxe right after Forgotten Land, but maybe a potential temporary farewell to new side-scrolling Kirby's, which again I'm fine with. We've had like 20 of those over the years. And hey, also worth noting in Star Allies, and spoilers I guess, but who cares, the final boss, like 2/3 of it is a 3D like shoot 'em up that's kind of like a hybrid of Kirby Air Ride and Star Fox. So I remember getting to the final boss of Star Allies and seeing that and being like, okay, the next game is going to be fully 3D, right?
Yeah, I remember having those thoughts in the lead up to Forgotten Land of like, oh yeah, like it's finally time, right? Like, isn't it? Like even like you mentioned Blowout Blast, like that felt like they're flirting with it a little bit. It's kind of like, okay, like we're, you know, it feels like we're kind of tiptoeing in this direction. It kind of reminded me of like Pokemon, like when we got to like Pokemon X and Y, and it wasn't like fully like open world 3D, but they're flirting with it, you know, and you knew that was like the direction that we were heading. And yeah, like that was kind of, I don't know, it felt like we had like one foot on the banana peel and we were just kind of waiting for it to happen, you know. And it was cool, like in the lead up to Forgotten Land of like, yes, like finally, and it worked honestly better than I even thought it was going to. I was a little initially trepidatious of the idea because the perspective of 3D Kirby, like it's the kind of idea that sounds good on paper but could very easily not work well in practice. But no, I mean Forgotten Land is my favorite Kirby game pretty easily, and I owe, I think, a lot of that to the 3D perspective. I think for my part, typically I tend to just enjoy playing 3D platformers more than 2D platformers a lot of the time. If I had to say like my favorite overall genre, it probably is like 3D platformers. And so I think I was kind of like predetermined to like this, but I do like, I remember the build up. I remember thinking to myself, like, how is this going to turn out? And I remember just being very, you know, pleasantly, like my expectations were met by Kirby in the Forgotten Land.
I remember the game leaked like either hours or a day before the Nintendo Direct where they revealed it. And even though it was just like one screenshot or something, I think I literally was crying. Like I was actually full on ready for the 3D Kirby. And for whatever reason, I guess just because of how long it took them to make this leap, and then seeing the hands that were, you know, shepherding the series for the past decade at this point, I was like fully in just at the word go. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like a 3D Kirby. It is worth noting when we're saying 3D Kirby, it's not like Mario Odyssey Kirby where you just have full free roaming, running around. Think more like Super Mario 3D Land or 3D World or Sackboy: A Big Adventure, where the camera is kind of, most of the time, is kind of isometric. You don't really have any control over the camera. You are still moving around a 3D environment. But that coupled with traditional Kirby gameplay of like sucking in enemies, getting their abilities, fighting. I think a big reason why Kirby games don't hit with a lot of like older Nintendo fans is that the series hasn't really been platforming focused since Kirby's Adventure. At least this is my perspective on it. But people keep approaching the series as if it's a platformer and being like, well, the platforming in this isn't very good. It's like, yeah, because Kirby can float. Like, there's no real imminent threat of death from platforming usually in Kirby. To me, what has always made Kirby so distinct is that it's almost like a side-scrolling beat-em-up with some platforming elements in it. Also, there's more puzzle elements in Kirby level design than straight-up platforming elements, usually. But with Forgotten Land, this is the most Kirby has ever felt like a platformer. And yeah, I think that was a good call. And they accomplished that with in a lot of ways. But I think the main way they accomplished it for me was that in between all the main named levels, there's all these little challenge levels that they force you to use a specific power up, and you're timed, and you just have to get through. It's also, it takes place in like a void, like they didn't make new assets for any of these challenge levels. So it's like, hey, we'll give you the firepower, and you have to light the rope on fire that's going to go launch the cannon, and then you have to race to get to the cannon before the rope gets there. Or before the fuse gets there, rather. But you might have to deal with obstacles on the way and stuff, and it's, you know, the whole level only takes like a minute or whatever, but it really feels, I don't know, almost like a Mario Odyssey level of like platforming focused level. You know, like in Mario Odyssey, when you throw Cappy at a mannequin, and then you can't take Cappy with you, and you just go do some pure platforming in a void. That's kind of what the equivalent is here. Like I said, you get stuck with a specific power, and you have to use that power to the full extent. That's when I find Kirby most interesting, gameplay wise. And yeah, they really leaned into that here, and I think they did such a good job with it. And yeah, they included a ton of those like mini challenge levels. There's, I don't know, there's like, I want to say 7 or 8 like per world, and there's hidden ones too. They just did a great job with it. Also adding to the game's platformer feel is the inclusion of the aforementioned mouthful mode, which is truly the best named video game ability of all time.
It's real good.
So mouthful mode basically is just Kirby can inhale inanimate objects, but he can't eat them. So it's like his body just stretches out around that object, and then he gets abilities based on what that object is. And so these objects give him new traversal abilities. I didn't want to list all of them here because it's actually a pretty long list, but I just wrote down a few notable ones here, like car mouth, ring mouth, light bulb mouth, and vending mouth. I really like the name vending mouth in this case.
It's pretty good.
But yeah, car mouth is what they were like advertising the game with. And yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. Kirby puts a car in his mouth, and then you can like go fast, and you can like bust through obstacles because you are literally a car at that point. Worth noting that when Kirby's body distorts around the car, that his little stubby hands become the rear view mirrors. Yeah. And also, I just love in the intro cutscene when he turns on the radio, and then he's kind of like dancing, but he's also
just bobbing to it.
Yeah.
It's real good.
Yeah, I the mouthful mode, again, if you've played other Kirby games, it's like the Robobot equivalent, where it's like this game's gimmick. I don't want, again, gimmick has a bad connotation, but there's no other word I can really use for it. Like,
right,
a lot of the puzzle solving in this game is done with the different mouthful modes. Did you have a favorite mouthful mode off the top of your head?
Oh man, I do like the vending machine a lot. I like the, you know which one I like is the traffic cone one. That one's really satisfying to use. Well, I mean, I love the way it looks. First of all, I like how like he can almost do it. You know, like he can almost get it, and like it's just like the little like bottom of the traffic cone is just kind of sticking out, and it's really satisfying to use because you can just kind of turn into like a spike, you know, and that's real good. There's one, isn't there one where he can just like really like sloppily become like a set of stairs?
Oh yeah, yeah, the stair one.
Yeah, I like that one. The ring mouth one, which we mentioned earlier, is another favorite. That's a really satisfying one to use. Just like those little like puffs of like air or whatever that he shoots out. It's yeah, those are some good ones.
Yeah, I like ring mouth a lot because yeah, you can shoot out puffs of air that is like, it'll kill basically anything in one hit. Even some mini bosses you'll kill in like 2 or 3 hits with the ring mouth mode. Also, they have like boats scattered around in some of the ring mouth levels, and then you can like steer a boat by blowing air. Yeah, ring mouth is up there for me. I do love light bulb mouth, mostly because of the way it looks. Like Kirby is shaped like a light bulb, and then you can just see a light bulb sticking out of his mouth. And then the gameplay around it is good. Like you hold the button to light up around you. It's always in dark levels, obviously. I think my all-time favorite though is the water balloon one. where he just inhales a bunch of water and looks like a water balloon.
About that one. Yeah.
Yeah, they only use it, I don't know, like 4 or 5 times in the game, but every time they use it, it feels like Mario Sunshine when you're cleaning up stuff with Flood. Also, Kirby just gets super huge and he like lumbers around like a big dumb ogre or something. And I love that one. I think that's my all-time favorite. But yeah, they're basically all good. Even like the ones that, you know, the staircase one Seth mentioned, that's basically just like a puzzle solving thing.
Right.
But again, just the fact that it's Kirby stretch over this giant set of stairs, like it's just
so silly.
It just looks so funny that like you don't like the gameplay slows way down in moments like that, but I never mind. Like that's something that I think this game does real well is like the pacing of it. Kirby feels so snappy and fast in this to the point where like when you do slow down, it's almost like a break as opposed to like, oh, I'm slowing down like in an auto scroller or something. But yeah, that's something that I really loved about this game. Again, I have a feeling we'll talk more about Mouthful Mode when we get to after our next break. I think the main thing else I wanted to mention here in the generalities is that they added a hub area to the first time in the series called Waddle Dee Town, which Waddle Dee, you know, I know my name on like social media is like Shy Guy City, but that's just, I don't know, Shy Guy just sounds easier to say than Waddle Dee. Because if I'm honest, I think Waddle Dee is my favorite Nintendo character of all time.
Okay, yeah.
I just love how they look. I love that they gave one a bandana and a spear, and he's like the cool one.
Yeah, man.
It is worth noting, I forgot to put this in my notes, but you can play the whole game in 2-player co-op, and the second player just gets to be Spear Waddle Dee or Bandana. I think in this game he's called Bandana Waddle Dee.
Yeah.
I call him Bandana D for short. I just like that. I didn't get to revisit the co-op this time. My wife wasn't interested, but we did play through the whole thing co-op when the game came out. It's also neat because maybe my biggest complaint about this game is that there aren't that many copy abilities overall. Again, we'll talk about that later, but Bandana Waddle Dee is kind of like a hidden copy ability. He has his own completely unique moveset built around the spear. I find him very fun to play, but I know big babies they complain that you can only do spear stuff when you're playing as him, but I get it. Anyway, Waddle Dee Town, you can rescue Waddle Dees in every level of the game, and the more you rescue, the more the Waddle Dees come in and expand the town. They want to emphasize like giving you reasons to come back to Waddle Dee Town between levels. Probably the biggest reason you'd come back is that there's a blacksmith here, and that you can upgrade all of your copy abilities here once you find the blueprints for them. But they also, like, there's, you know, Kirby games always have a bunch of mini games in them. All of the mini games are contextualized around Waddle Dee Town in this game. There's like a food truck or like a food stand where you're serving Waddle Dees a bunch of different food. There's a fishing hole. I quite like the fishing hole. It's very simple. You just tap some buttons when you get a bite on your line, but I quite like it. I don't know, just the music there is so damn charming.
It's great.
I love Waddle Dee Town. Also, like in the post game, you unlock the Dedede Dees, which is just like a band of Waddle Dees, and they just play music in the hub. Waddle Dee Town is not too big or complex or anything, but I think it's the perfect size to like not be annoying to navigate, because there are a bunch of like functions here, while still giving you a bunch of cute stuff to look at, reasons to come back and visit. As you like 100% the game, they build like statues of Kirby here. It's just a big cute thing, you know?
Yeah, it's just adding, like, it's creating a hub, like a designed space around what you would normally see in a Kirby menu. Like, in the main menu of a Kirby game, you would normally see, like, whatever, 5 or 6 other modes or mini games or whatever, and now it's just all here in the context that like, again, just like serves to add context to what you're already doing in the stages, rescuing Waddle Dees. And it's just cute, man. Like, you can just run around and wave hi to everybody. Like, it's just cute, dude. Like, there's like a little movie theater in there. The Coliseum is there. I love the way that things like kind of progress, like even after completing the story. I like the little gashapon machine and everything. Like, it's just really good. Like, I wish that, you know, I know that it kind of feels like after Bowser's Fury that whatever the next 3D Mario game is going to lean into maybe perhaps like a more open world scheme. Who knows? I kind of hope it doesn't, though. I kind of would prefer if it had like a structure like this, where I went back to a hub, you know, and had something that was a little bit more fleshed out. Like I really like structurally what Waddle Dee Town is, and I could do with more of this and other Nintendo games.
I think you might be the first person I've ever heard speak, at least in like the Nintendo content creator sphere, that does not want an open world Mario game. But I'm with you. It's not that I don't want it, but yeah, I would rather have like obviously make the hub like bigger and more explorable than Waddle Dee Town. But yeah, I'd rather have a centralized hub that you come back and revisit, much like the castle in Mario 64. To me, that was the main thing missing from Odyssey. Maybe the worst part about Odyssey, the only complaint I really have, is that there's no like centralized hub. Like that your ship doesn't really fill that role for me. It doesn't do the same thing for me, really.
Right. Well, and you have like, you know, Rosalina's Cosmic Observatory or whatever in Galaxy, but it's like kind of annoying to navigate, and then like you have like the Mario like face planet spaceship thing in Galaxy 2, but again, there's not really much of anything going on there. I would love if the next 3D Mario game like had like a nice, easily navigatable, fully fleshed out like little hub world that kind of was spokes to other areas that could be big and open, but I don't need it to be, again, I will be okay with whatever they give me. I'm sure it'll be great.
Yeah.
But I'm not sitting here chomping at the bit about the idea of just a one big open world Mario game.
Yeah. Like, again, I'm totally down for it if that's what they're doing. But yeah, that's not exactly what I'm inherently looking for. But again, I will take it if that's what they do. I didn't think about it till now, but the next episode of Bit Harmony will be going up after the Switch 2 Direct.
Oh, so weird. Yeah.
We actually might be revisiting those comments and thoughts much sooner than I realized. I do also want to note real quick that you mentioned the cinema, the theater that you can go to in Waddle Dee Town. I was not aware till looking up the soundtrack on YouTube that the name of the theater music is called "Please Don't Inhale the Cinema Patrons," which I think is a very, very cute name for just a very innocuous, dumb song in the game. So yeah, otherwise, the rest of the game probably functions exactly how you think. You go from start to finish of a level while rescuing as many Waddle Dees as you can, open up the next main level and a bunch of challenge levels between each main level, rinse and repeat into the world's boss, and you take some trips to Waddle Dee Town here and there, usually to upgrade the copy abilities and whatnot. With that said, I think we're done with the generalities. We are going to go on our next break and then come back and just talk about anything specific we want to about Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which I wasn't making podcasts in 2022 when this game came out. So I've never really had the opportunity to sit down and like have a dedicated talk about Kirby and the Forgotten Land. And this is literally what I was born to do. So let's go on a break for Northeast Frost Street and Metro on Ice. Northeast Frost Street was composed by Yuta Ogasawara, and Metro on Ice was composed by Hirokazu Ando, and we will be back. That was Northeast Frost Street and Metro on Ice from Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I know, or at least I'm pretty sure, that Northeast Frost Street is like your favorite off of this soundtrack, right?
Yeah, I mean, this Northeast Frost Street is not only my favorite off of this soundtrack, not only is it my favorite song in the Kirby series in general, it's just one of my favorite Nintendo songs. I love this song.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Like, this is objectively the best song in this game, and yeah, it is also probably my favorite. Also, like, maybe my favorite, like, wintry sounding video game song of all time. Like, when we did the wintry mix a couple months ago, I really wanted this in here, but I'm like, no, I'm going to control myself. We'll save it. We'll save it.
We were going to put it in. Like, this was one, there were a couple, actually, it was this and Alabaster Icelands from Pokemon Legends Arceus. Both of those, we were like literally talking about putting into that episode, but it's like, no, we know we're going to do those episodes eventually.
Right.
So, like, we can't put Northeast Frost Street in there. It killed me not to put it in there.
And, like, you know, there's nothing preventing us from doing a dedicated break of Northeast Frost Street in 2 separate episodes. It's just, from my perspective, I'm like, that's not like that that's not that exciting. I want to present new stuff, but at some point I have to reconcile with the fact that we've had like over 600 songs featured on this podcast already, and that we're going to bump into some duplicates at some point. But yeah, I don't have too many notes on this just because like this song is so damn good. But yeah, specifically around 57 seconds in, when the guitar just goes absolutely ham, but you still have the very traditional like wintry chimes going on behind it, and there's some horns in the backing. Like, god damn, it's good.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, this was the first, like, you know, I loved the music up until this point, but this was the first song in the game that really like actually like knocked my hair back, you know, like. That really kind of swept me off my feet a little bit. Like, I remember coming into the area for the first time, and you're in this kind of just like frozen over like cobblestone like city or something. And like just when that music hit, I was like stun locked for a second. Like, I just sat there. I was like, oh my god, dude, like this is crazy. Yeah, like those guitars, man. There's something about this game has a lot of, like, to me, the music in this game in general has a lot of anime influence, has a lot of the kind of stuff that you would hear. Like, there's a crunchiness to the guitar that kind of reminds me of anime, that kind of reminds me of, like, we talk about the pillows all the time, you know, on the show, and it kind of reminds me of something like that. There's something very, like, I guess specifically Japanese, like Japanese kind of rock influences in a lot of these songs. But yeah, it still has the twinkles and the boops, you know, the just like the trademark of any great ice stage music. It's got all of the little musical junk that I love. It's got key changes. It's got that thing that I love in Yasunori Mitsuda's music where they make you think the song is going one way. Like, by the end of like the first kind of like loop of it, you think that it's just going to loop again. Around like 127, it actually starts to swell. And like you're saying, like it starts to like just go off, get crazy. Like, introduces a massive like string section with like a choir behind it. And I'm like, oh my God. It just like... This song to me is like candy. It's like a musical candy or something. Like, I listen to it and I feel like I'm like luxuriating, and it does so much for me. I love it.
It's also worth noting that this level that the song plays in is very like UK inspired looking. This whole area, this whole region of the game, it feels like it's very like Great Britain inspired. And yeah, I don't know, like wandering these like snow covered streets, and my favorite enemies in the game are here, the little penguins in the knit caps that throw snowballs at you.
So good.
Like, you find that secret little alleyway, and there's like a sleeping little dude back there, and one of the snowmen that you need to destroy is back there. Like, this, like, again, I love this whole soundtrack. It's one of my favorite Nintendo soundtracks ever. But yeah, this is the song where, like, It made me emotional, like very much so. Like I remember, when it starts swelling, I stopped like when I was first playing the game and just kind of soaked it all in. I was like this is video games, baby. Like this is video game music to me. I just love this. I love the stage. I love the music. The whole, we'll talk about it on the next song, which is also a World 4 song, but I just feel like World 4 is just like the peak of the game in general. Like the game definitely has like a difficulty spike after this. Not that it's like that crazy or anything, but you definitely notice like this is kind of like the last like pretty easy-ish world, but also to me it has the best theming. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about Northeast Frost Street, or you just want to jump into the Metro on Ice?
We can jump into it. I mean, I to your point about it being very UK inspired, like it has the tonality to me of like like it makes me think of like the opening of like Muppet Christmas Carol or something. Where like it's very just like cold, snowy, cobblestone, somewhat intimidating, but also kind of still and beautiful. I don't know, like I love all the stuff in the little nooks and crannies. Also, very memorable moment to me in the game is like that level. I'm pretty sure it's in World 4 with just that big bridge with like the combat challenges on it, and like how layered and vertical that whole thing is. And there's all these like little secret areas in that stage. And anyway, that whole world is very memorable to me.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up that bridge level. I didn't know if I would be able to like slot it in anywhere else, but yeah, it's just like a pure combat focused level. You're just like going to all these like mini boss segments. I guess I say pure combat, but like you have to go into the side rooms to rescue the Waddle Dees and solve puzzles or whatever. But yeah, there's so much for such a simple, straightforward level. They pack so many secrets in to the point where you can get on the upper layer of the bridge, and then there's harder versions of all the boss fights with better rewards up there. Like you get more money and stuff going up there. It's really fun. Like now that I know that it's there, I always go the upper route on my replays of the game. I think it's a ton of fun. Metro on Ice is, it's not as strong of a level as Northeast Frost Street, but thematically I actually kind of like it more, because you go down into the subway system and there's a lot of environmental storytelling here, specifically that like one of the subways like crashed, one of the trains crashed into a wall, and a bunch of like water flowed in, and a lot of that's frozen now. So like it's these frozen abandoned subway tracks down here. When it comes to the song, I think it's maybe the most overlooked song on the whole soundtrack to me.
Sure.
Like I have this right up here with Northeast Frost Street. It's not objectively as good as that song, but I really love the song. It's very different tonally. Obviously it's way more bouncy, but still manages to sound like wintry and stuff. I also like that it just incorporates so many noises that make me think of a subway. There's a lot of echoey chimes. It's just a really neat detail. And yeah, like I said, to me, this is like emblematic of just World 4 in general. I also love, like, I think the main powers you get in this level are ice and hammer, and I think that's a really weird and interesting combination. I think needle is also in here. Just a really interesting, neat set of copy abilities here. Also feels like it would sound right at home on the Kirby's Epic Yarn soundtrack, but
totally.
I don't have too much to say about the song itself. I just like it a lot, and I like that they incorporate a lot of like subway related noises in here.
Yeah, I had the same thought with the subway kind of theming. I like, it kind of like, it reminds me a little bit of I guess it's telling that I'm comparing both of these songs in some way to Mitsuda, but it reminds me a little bit of like a Mario Party 1 song. Like just that kind of, it's got a little bit of that, xylophone or maybe it's marimba kind of vibe to it. Of course, like this is a nice level, so it's got like your bells, and that all works. But I think for me, like what really brings this song over the edge is when the acoustic guitar kind of comes in. That I think really kind of like gives that song a different dimension. It kind of reminds me like when you take like living in Chicago, public transportation is a huge deal there, and you will often see people like busking either by the various like lines in Chicago, or like literally on like if you're taking like the red line in Chicago or something, like you'll probably see some dude playing a guitar in there. You know. And so like that like even the fact that they worked that in there gave me a little bit of that like subway busking flavor, you know.
Dude, you know what's so funny is, again, I until I moved to Germany, I was never in a city that had like a major emphasis on public transportation or any kind of train system or whatever. And it did not occur to me until you talking about that is what the acoustic guitar is a reference to, like people playing instruments like in the subway station. Never occurred to me. I feel like an idiot now.
it has that, like, there's something kind of beautiful and haunting to me about like a not haunting in like a scary way, but just like the way that like if somebody's playing music in a subway or a train station or something, the way it kind of just reverberates off the walls, like I don't know, like something about that is always really appealing. Like you almost are drawn to it, like you're almost like, oh, like where's that coming from, you know? And yeah, I don't know, that is what this completely evokes for me.
Yeah, it's funny too, also in the years I've lived here, seen a lot of instruments being played, but not often guitar. I've seen accordions, I've seen saxophones. I don't think I've ever run into anyone out here playing guitar. The last time my wife and I were out in downtown to meet a friend of hers, someone was playing Careless Whisper on a saxophone, which that always gets
classic.
me good. It does, you know, I know like we've all got our like guilty pleasures and overplayed songs or whatever. I don't care. I love that damn saxophone.
I love it. Oh, dude, it's fantastic. Are you kidding me? Who doesn't love that?
Now, if they want to play Careless Whisper in the Metro on Ice level, that would also be pretty good.
That'd be pretty sick.
Yeah. Now that we're back from the break and we were caught up on the songs, we're just going to talk about whatever we damn well please. I'm saying damn a lot in this episode. I don't know where that's coming from.
we got a little salt to us today, I feel like.
I don't know where you want to start with just talking about whatever we want to talk about with Kirby and the Forgotten Land. The first thing I've written down in the notes is just like copy ability stuff, but I don't know if that's where you want to start.
We can start there, yeah.
So yeah, like I said, I'm a big Kirby nut. I freak out whenever there's like, when they released Return to Dreamland Deluxe and they added Sand and the Mech Kirby copy abilities, I was freaking out. Also, those are just two of the most broken, overpowered copy abilities in the entire series. Love them. So I love going in depth on copy abilities. I think it is what draws me to Kirby more than anything else, more than the music, more than just the aesthetic and the world and the characters and the lore. I just love talking about Kirby copy abilities. I will list real quick all the copy abilities in this game. That would be Sword, Bomb, Cutter, Fire, Ranger, Needle, Ice, Hammer, Sleep, Drill, Crash, and Tornado, with Ranger and Drill being the new ones for Forgotten Land. I do want to make a note real quick that I do think the copy abilities is like literally my only complaint with Forgotten Land. Yeah. I just want there to be like double the amount. I totally understand why there's not. This is being the first 3D game and them having to figure out how to convert a lot of these abilities to a 3D space. It's not like I'm accusing the devs of anything. I understand completely why it's like this. Also, to kind of negate that, all of these abilities can be upgraded at least once, most of them twice, but a couple 3 times. Specifically, Sword and Hammer are the ones that let you take it up to a 4th level, which those are both pretty damn cool, especially the Sword, but we'll talk about that in a bit, I think. So I guess, first of all, what did you think about like upgrading abilities in this? Because the only other time that's been in the series, I think, was in Squeak Squad.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, like, I like it. It's neat. I think it's well implemented. I think the idea is sound. I think the upgrades actually do like genuinely feel different. Like it's not just like, oh, this thing just does more damage now or whatever. I think it's a well implemented idea. It is funny though, because like I never really thought too hard about it, I guess, until like seeing these all listed here. Is a little bit of a boring list of copy abilities. Yeah. In the grand scheme, like the copy abilities that I love so much is like Beetle and like UFO and stuff like that. I like the kind of wackier, I guess, copy abilities. Like I just like I love like Beatles so much, and I would have liked to see even like Fighters not in this, which is weird.
Wild. It's
Yeah.
wild. I would say, and again, Fighter isn't even one of my favorites, but like it is a Kirby like mainstay to me. Like it's weird that it's not in here. Also no Parasol. Like to me,
Right.
Parasol is more emblematic of Kirby than Sword, but
Or
they put
Beam.
Sword in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Beam is good. You know, my all-time favorite is Yo-Yo.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
you know, they've only had that in Superstar and Superstar Ultra and Star Allies, so I wasn't necessarily expecting it here, but also it would fit to 3D so well. It would be perfect
Right.
for a 3D game, so I was kind of disappointed that wasn't here. Yeah, honestly, I feel like Ranger and Drill, those are the two new ones we mentioned. Those are the ones that like feel the most interesting, which makes sense. They were made completely specifically for this game. But otherwise, I really feel like Tornado is kind of the only like really interesting one of these.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And to be fair, like Ranger and Drill are cool. Like I did like them, you know, and they're neat. But yeah, like I guess I didn't really think. And of course, like you've got like Hammer is one of my favorites, but it is pretty simplistic, right? Like Hammer is just Hammer. It's great, but it is just Hammer, and you know we're pretty well used to it by this point. But yeah, I would have liked to see more, and I would have liked to see a little bit more of an interesting list. If they do another one, I hope they go a little bit more out there with it.
And again, I do want to emphasize too that like they, especially with the upgrades, they really start mixing stuff up. Like for instance, the level 2 sword, like level 1 sword just plays like Sword and Kirby, but level 2 sword gives you like a giant great sword, and you also don't get like a dodge roll when you have the level 2 sword. You just have a shield. And then the level 4 sword incorporates all of these things into one, and also like heals you when you're attacking with it. It's very interesting. Bomb, like you get homing bombs when you get it all the way upgraded. So like they do cool stuff with the upgrades, but it's still, it's not as exciting as finding a new copy ability in the game.
Right.
Like, you know, upgrading it just doesn't, like, I was always excited to get an ability upgrade, but it was never as exciting as just finding a new full-on copy ability. I will also note, this is very petty of me, that while I do think, you know, each upgraded version has a different Kirby hat or helmet or whatever, which is a good touch, but oftentimes I just like the level 1 hat the most. Like Hammer is a good instance of like, I just want to have Kirby with that like Japanese headband on if I'm doing Hammer, but with like the better version of the Hammer, you know. But yeah, I did have written down here like, how good of a job do you feel they did of converting old abilities to a 3D space? Because my thought at the time was like that was going to be the biggest issue, but I think they did a really good job overall here with that.
Yeah, I think so too. I would like to see. I mean, that all works for me. Like, at no point did I say, "Oh, this didn't translate well to 3D space." Like, yeah, everything feels completely fine. I even like how, like for example, with fire, like if you're doing like a dash with like fire or something, it almost feels a little bit more like you're locked into like an 8 direction or something. It feels almost like an approximation, like almost like it almost feels like you're going into like a 2D kind of mode for a second. But yeah, I think it worked pretty well overall.
A neat thing with how they made the abilities work in 3D, I don't remember, what's the Iwata Asks segment called now that Iwata has passed? It's like talk to the devs or something.
Just like ask the developers or something like that. Yeah.
I remember they were giving information in Ask the Developers about how they kind of trick you with how some of the copy abilities work in 3D, that like it's based on camera angle. So like if something looks like it should hit, say like Cutter for instance, that they make it hit as long as it looks to you like the player like it should work. I think that is such a smart decision because again, it's 3D, but you also don't have control over the camera, so you can't even fully get a sense of like depth all the time. And you know, that's already a problem in some Mario games. You know, you get used to it if you play them enough. But with Kirby, you're dealing so much with like projectiles that only go a certain distance and like having to judge how far you are from enemies because it's so much more combat focused. So the idea that they just kind of, I don't know, they just like cut some corners, but in like a good way and in a player friendly way to make it like emulate it working how you think it should. I think that's genius, especially when it comes to something like Cutter, which has been in the series since Adventure. It's in like every game, and it has a way that you feel it should work, and it works exactly how it feels like it should, but only because they do tricks like that to make it work, even though it technically shouldn't, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's really, really interesting and cool. I also appreciate, you know, I remember, okay, Needle, I don't like Needle in basically any Kirby game. It's just kind of like, I like that he turned spiky, like he looks like an urchin, but it's like the most boring power-up to me, because at least with Stone, he like slams down. You don't even really have that.
And stuff, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Whereas here in Forgotten Land, they make it work like Katamari. Like you roll around as a spike, and then you can stay in that spike form if you keep rolling into enemies or objects that can be picked up. So by the time you fully upgrade it to like the Crystal Needle, you can stay in that form really long, and you have pretty good direct one-to-one control over where you're rolling, and you do a ton of damage. I would still say out of all of these, I think Needle is still the one I like using the least, but like the challenge room that uses the needles, those are always really fun because it's always just like Katamari challenge.
It's designed for it, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In the levels where they have a needle ability, there's usually an instance where you can like do a good long roll with it, but obviously there it's more optional. I'll also say I don't really like ice in Forgotten Land. Like the only thing it's really bringing in Forgotten Land compared to the other games is that some enemies you can like boss enemies or mini bosses you can freeze,
right?
And like that's cool, but it takes so long. I don't know. I do like that you can like if you double tap, you start sliding and turn and give yourself an ice aura, but just default ice breathing doesn't really do it for me. Again, I could talk all day about like every single one of these. I won't do that. I did do like basically a 100% replay of the game. I wasn't planning on it, and then I just ended up just enjoying myself so much. I just basically did it. Every time I replay a Kirby game that I've already played, I pick a different power up to try and like mainline, so like use whenever I can, especially against mini bosses and bosses. In 2D Kirby games, Tornado is like one of my favorites. It's like number 2 or 3. And I think a lot of people don't like Tornado, but for instance, in Return to Dreamland, that was like, you could just beat the whole game easily with Tornado when you understand what you're doing and how to control it. If you don't know, when you hit the power, the ability button in Tornado, Kirby turns into just a swirling tornado that is basically indestructible. I think you could still get sucked in by enemies in 2D games, but not many enemies do that. So you can like swirl all around the screen. If you hold the button, you'll rise. If you let go, you'll descend. You can just turn into this like swirling hurt box that can go wherever you want on the screen at a high rate of speed. But you know, when you run out of juice, basically, Kirby's vulnerable then until you can get the tornado going again. It basically works exactly the same here. Obviously, there's not as much of a vertical emphasis, being that this is 3D and whatever. They didn't want to deal with that. But yeah, you press the tornado, and then you can just rock it all over the screen and hurt enemies and pick them up and then unleash it. Like if you pick up a bunch of small enemies and then hit the power button again, those enemies or objects fly at other enemies on screen too. At least when you have the powered up version of it. But for whatever reason, the first couple times I played Forgotten Land, I didn't like Tornado very much here, despite the fact that it is a quite literal translation of the ability from side-scrolling to 3D. I loved it here. I used it against every single boss. I did the Ultimate Arena just using Tornado. I absolutely love it. Tornado, oof, I don't ever want a Kirby game that doesn't have Tornado in it again. I just love Tornado so much.
Yeah, I mean, I think in this one, I kind of was, I feel like I played with all of these fairly liberally. I mean, I agree with you. I think Needle was like on the lower end of the kind of standard ones, the non like single use ones or whatever, that, you know, it's not like Crash or it's not like Sleep or whatever. You know, I didn't really use that too much. I liked Ranger and Drill. They're fun and unique, but you know, I also was not like going out of my way for them. Like for me, like with Kirby, I kind of find the ones that I like, and I tend to stick with them any chance I get. That being said, I like the point that you made about how like on replays, it's kind of cool that you can take that approach and come back in and like mainline another copy ability and kind of like, I don't know, give like repeat playthroughs a different flavor. I think that's a really cool way to look at replayability in Kirby.
I think it came in because like arena mode in Superstar, they let you like choose powers and stuff, and like I just wanted to try and beat it with every power, and then I don't. The combat in this game is genuinely really good. I mean, I love the combat in all the Kirby games. Something we didn't mention in the generalities, I just forgot, is that in this game you have a block ability, which we did mention that, but if you click the stick in any direction, Kirby does like a little dodge roll in whatever direction on the stick you press. But it's like a Bayonetta thing where if you time it right, if you dodge right as an enemy attack is coming at you, time slows down for everyone but Kirby. And if you hit the attack button as like a counter attack on most of these copy abilities, you do like a bigger, stronger attack too. I think the combat in this game is like better than, to me, a lot of like dedicated, like full on character action games, because of how many different copy abilities there are and the nuance going on. I like that, you know, in like Devil May Cry, for instance, some combat encounters go on a little too long, especially when you don't know what you're doing. Also, things are just more complicated. The game is meant to be more hard. I was just replaying Bayonetta 1 for the first time in like nearly a decade on my Switch like a month ago, and there are some combat encounters that are just so punishing.
Yeah.
Kirby avoids that. Like nothing is that punishing, even the final boss, but it still is challenging. Like you will die in this game at some of the higher challenges if you're not going in prepared or knowing what you're doing, but it doesn't feel like the game is like laughing at you, or it's not like, I remember in Bayonetta 1 near the end of the game, there's like 2 super strong enemies. I forget their names, but like they will just decimate you if you're not like giving it your all at any given moment. Whereas Kirby is like, you could just get by turning into a tornado and just swirling and bouncing around off of the environment and the enemy. But if you really plan out what you're doing, you can absolutely decimate everything in front of you. To me, that's what makes Kirby games and Kirby combat so good. Like when Return to Dreamland Deluxe came out and they added the sand ability, you know, everyone was way more excited about the mech ability, and it is cool. But I'm like, no, give me that sand, because you have like you can make a giant fist, you can drop a giant sand castle down on enemies. The combo potential is insane. I love Kirby combat. I think it is like, to me, the platonic ideal of like basically brawler combat while still being approachable and in a game made for kids, if that makes sense.
Yeah, another kind of cool byproduct of the shift to 3D, and this isn't directly involved with combat necessarily, although I guess maybe it is, there's a real sense of scale that they're able to achieve with especially the boss fights in this, and there's like a sense of just like drama with the boss fights in this that like I don't feel like the 2D games, just because of them being in 2D, can ever quite get to. Like they can get close. Like there's certainly like really big and dramatic moments in 2D Kirby games, but like, man, there's just something different. Like when you're running away from like a giant mass of like homunculus eldritch you know, animals in this game, it does hit a little bit different.
Do we want to take that segue then and start talking about lore, or like what?
Sure.
Because you bringing up that wall of just gooey mass of like animals, truly one of the most horrifying things in any Nintendo game I can think of.
I can't really think of anything that would even be in contention with it, to be honest. And the cool thing about Kirby and the Forgotten Land, because like, you know, a lot of the kind of like deeper lore stuff with Kirby is often kind of buried behind doing some of the harder challenges in the game and kind of like post-game stuff. And it's really cool that Kirby and the Forgotten Land kind of puts that stuff more on Front Street. Like, you can play whatever 90% of Kirby in the Forgotten Land and make your way through the story and be like, okay, like this is just kind of like a fun, cute Kirby game. But then you get to the end and you start seeing like some of the stuff that is like revealed and some of the moments that happen at the end of the game. And it's like, oh my God, dude. Like, I can't believe this is just in here.
So I want to give a brief overview of like the story and lore basically of Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So if anyone is looking to avoid spoilers, again, I don't consider these spoilers. This is just the backdrop for what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like this is still a gameplay and like vibe centric game. It's still no Kirby game is story oriented. It just has cool story if you're looking for it. So if you want to skip ahead, but we're going to talk about the lore like relatively in depth, not down to the nitty gritty, but just an overview and some of our thoughts on it. So the plot of Forgotten Land is that this was once a planet inhabited by either humans or human-like creatures. It seems they seem pretty human-like, maybe even an Earth equivalent, just set in the far future, based on like the skyscrapers and malls and theme parks and whatever. Some alien creature landed on the planet that had teleportation abilities, and it was asleep, and they captured it and studied it, and they developed teleportation technology by studying this creature. Also, again, I didn't refresh myself on all the minutia of the lore before getting on this podcast, but at some point, Elflin splits off. Elflin being Kirby's like assistant, little cute green-blue buddy in this game. He splits off of the main life form, but again, I don't remember the exact details of that. So anyway, the humans or human equivalents, the original like dominant species of this planet, they leave. They become like space travelers through this teleportation technology and leave everything behind. And then the animals and nature start reclaiming the planet. That leads to like I think that's the Beast Pack led by was his name Leon, I think.
Leon Gar.
Leon Gar, that's all right. They want to also get off of the planet, and they start trying because the creature that had the teleportation abilities, he's still asleep, and he can't wake up fully until Elflin becomes a part of him again. But that said, he is still manipulating things. He is a psychic, weird, blue, ugly rat thing, and he is manipulating Leon Gar into doing what he wants. But yeah, Leon Gar leads his pack. They take over Dedede. They could mind control Dedede when they get sucked through the portal. And Dedede is the one that captures Elflin and takes him back to the Beast Pack. And then it basically turns into you beat Leon Gar, but then this creature, this teleporting psychic, doesn't want to let you have the win. So what is left of his mind and mass starts absorbing any creatures around to make this homunculi, this gelatinous like made of animal remains wall that starts chasing you down. But it is able to grab Elflin, and that's when it becomes whole again. That leads to the final battle, blah blah blah. So again, there's way more detail we could go into. There's more beyond that too. We can talk about it a little if you want, but that is just like a setting up what this game is. It is basically like an abandoned planet because the humans left it because they developed teleportation technology, but left everything behind an utter mess. And it's like tragic and it's melancholy. Like you really feel once you learn all this, at least I do, like I really feel for Leon Gar and the Beast Pack that they just wanted to also get off this planet. It's genuinely pretty sad.
Yeah, like they kind of felt left behind or something a little bit, and like there's a certain bitterness, to the what's that? Is his name like Forgo or something like that?
I forget. Also, it's called like specimen, blah blah blah, like by the scientists. So it has multiple names, but I think that's right.
Yeah. So like there's like a real bitter energy about it. And one thing that I really appreciate about this game, though, and what really I think helps push this game over the edge for me. And not that other Kirby games don't have great, story moments. They certainly do. Robobot has a great story too. But this game, like coming into there are just a few moments in this game that are like burned into my brain. One of them is is like the ending of the game, like the kind of like one of the final confrontations against like the sort of final Elfalin like angel form of Forgo or whatever, where like the world around you is kind of like lifted up and shattered and you're having to like run on buses and buildings and stuff, and Kirby's just like really giving it his all fighting him. It's such a cool moment. Like it feels like an anime moment that you're getting to play.
Yeah. The one thing I get misty-eyed in every Kirby game, every modern Kirby game, during the final boss fight, because Kirby always gives like an exerted yell, like a yeah kind of thing, and for whatever reason, I get choked up like every time. I remember beating Planet Robobot when it was new, and then meeting with a friend for lunch the next day, and I was trying to explain, and she was looking at me like I was an absolute insane person. Turns out, I was like, yeah, you get your robot gets a giant drill, and you drill through this giant space clock as Kirby's like yelling in pure exertion. But like, yeah, there's something very like, it feels like, because of how cute Kirby is, like it feels like this little guy shouldn't be having to have all this on his shoulders, is how it feels like to me. Now, if you go off the lore or implied lore of Star Allies, Kirby is actually like an infant space god, so I guess it actually does fall on him to take care of this
sort
stuff.
of like destined to do this dance. So then you get into like Morpho Night and like the kind of the butterfly and the sort of eternal song and dance of like having to constantly save the world, like, yeah.
This is the first canonical time Morpho Night shows up. All the other times it's in like optional, non-canonical like side stories and stuff. So I lost my mind when Morpho Night showed up in the very end of the post game of this. That had my heart beating really, really fast. God, I sound like such a nerd right now. Who would have thought?
I love this. Finally, it's somebody else and not just me.
I will say, in terms of like what I want out of like Kirby lore in the future, I really want to have the existence of the Knights like expanded upon. I really want to know. I feel like we know a lot about Kirby now, especially after Star Allies, but I really want to know like what's going on with like Meta Knight and stuff. I really want a game focused on like expanding the lore of like the Knights and stuff. I think that would be really fun.
I would have liked more of that, in this one, because Meta Knight's like that stuff. I would have liked to see that a little more fleshed out. Yeah,
I agree. Meta Knight is such a cool character, and he felt primed to do some real cool stuff here, but he really doesn't. Like in Robobot, he gives you the halberd. Like your Robobot fuses with
sick.
Meta Knight's ship. Yeah, dude, it's so good. But yeah, here he's just like an optional boss fight. I mean, he gives you the level 3 sword, or he doesn't give you, but that's how you unlock it, and that is really cool. I will say, when it comes to the end boss fight that you were talking about, the final mouthful mode is like a big rig truck, and you're driving on this broken highway to have like a clash in the sky with this angel psychic god thing. The one thing I'm disappointed in with the game, and again, I understand why they didn't do this, I was really hoping the final mouthful mode would be like Kirby inhales like a meteor and then he smashes into the final boss. I was telling my wife before the game came out, I'm like, the final mouthful mode, he's going to become a planet. I swear to God, Kirby's going to become a planet. And she's like, please shut up. Just leave me alone.
I like the idea that like you just like wake up in a cold sweat at like 3 a.m. wake her up. He's gonna become a planet in the final boss fight. I swear to God.
Because I was looking at it as a way to up the stakes. Like, Robobot, you fuse the Robobot with the halberd, the giant airship, and fight this giant like moon-sized space clock. Star Allies, like you figure out the origins of Kirby and stop a god from reawakening or whatever. How do you go bigger than that? Kirby eats a planet. To me, it makes sense. It's perfectly logical. Was there anything else you wanted to touch on with like the lore? Anything, not even just the lore, but like the story in general, the characters, any of that?
Yes, King Dedede,
of course,
is what I want to talk about.
Always.
King Dedede is my favorite Nintendo character. For those who don't know me, King Dedede is my guy and has been for many years. I love him. What I love about his character in general, I think that he, first of all, I think is the perfect character design. He is like he's like a penguin, so he's inherently cute, but he's also like intimidating in a way. He also manages to be like funny and aloof and like lazy, and he loves eating and lounging around and stuff. Like he's all of those things at once. Even just from like a color theory perspective, he prominently features all of the primary colors, like red, blue, yellow are all prominent parts of his design. I think he does that even better than Mario does. Like they tried to do that with Mario too, but Dedede does it better. So all of that is just true. I love him. But this game, and I also, another quick note about Dedede is he's also such a malleable design. He has had so many different like designs and takes on his character, and they all look good. Like you can do whatever you want with Dedede, and like he looks good. And I love that the Dedede design in this game, I've always been a fan of the no neck like Kirby 64 Dedede. Just the angry little like chicken nugget of a dude. And in this game, they kind of went for that as well, although they also gave him this kind of like tribal mask as part of the Beast Pack. And, you know, of course, Dedede is like possessed in the beginning of this game because he's always getting possessed. He's like, if there was an award for like most easily enchanted or whatever, Dedede would win. But the thing that really gets me about Dedede in this game is like, he, you know, like once you get to a point in the game where you kind of break Forgo's influence over Dedede, and Dedede kind of snaps out of it, and even though he's like becoming a sort of begrudging ally with Kirby, he really does care about his Waddle Dees. And like there's a moment in the game, and I got genuinely emotional when this happened.
I did too, even on this replay. I still got kind of choked up, yeah.
Like there's a moment where Dedede and they're kind of like escaping with the Waddle Dees, and they're heading into this elevator, and they get to the elevator, and they're kind of running away from like this group of, you know, possessed like enemies that are chasing after them. And Dedede gets into the elevator, and he notices that there's a Waddle Dee missing. Like he actively notices that one isn't in there with them. And so he runs back out, grabs the Waddle Dee, and kind of tosses him into the elevator and effectively sacrifices himself to save just that one Waddle Dee. So Dedede gets like a heroic sacrifice moment. The boss fights against him are like my favorite fights in the game. We'll talk about the music, of course, soon on our next break, I think, and that's all fantastic too. But the cherry on top is after you finish the game, Dedede posts up in Waddle Dee Town, and this is so good. This is just such a like great little extra thing. Dedede does not like talk, you know, to Kirby or anything like that.
Yeah.
But there's one of the Waddle Dees near him because he's like posted up and they're like feeding him like fruit or whatever. And he explains that Dedede doesn't want to talk to Kirby because he's like pissed that Kirby had to be the one to save his people while he was like possessed, you know? And I love that. It's such a simple thing that I think added so much like texture to his character as this guy who, yeah, he can be like greedy, selfish, funny, silly, intimidating, scary, all of that stuff at once. But also he genuinely cares about his people. Right. And like, he's not just some, I don't know, like it makes sense that I think that up until this point in the series, the Waddle Dees have kind of been, portrayed as like these kind of like stupid minions or something, or like they're being abused by Dedede or something like that, or that Dedede doesn't care that he has these like loyal subjects that just kind of blindly worship him. No, he does care about them, and I just think that's really charming, and I think that made me think about him in a completely different way, and I just loved it. Like I as a Dedede fan, I ate well in this game.
Yeah, for one, I want to say the phrase "Dedede does it better" it would be a great like slogan for running for like mayor or president or something. That's fantastic. And yeah, his design is so good across like every entry in the series. Like the best part about Star Allies, besides the lore, is the fact that they made a big muscular Dedede as the first world boss fight.
So good. Some people sell like figures of that on like Etsy, and I want one for my little Dedede shrine I have.
Dedede does indeed do it better.
Mm-hmm.
I'll also say, yeah, about him caring about the Waddle Dees. For one, yeah, it's a super sweet moment that he goes back. That Waddle Dee had tripped, and then he's looking so forlorn because he thinks he's about to get got by the other the beast coming in, and yeah, Dedede just grabs him and tosses him, and Kirby has to catch him, which is also very cute. But yeah, I love that Dedede cares, and it's also such a sweet moment too, from the perspective of like they had him mind controlled. So he didn't care that his people were getting captured. So he's probably even like more upset realizing, snapping out of it, that like, oh yeah, my people are being put in cages, like
right.
they're being put in cages and then being brought to this laboratory to power machines by running in giant hamster wheels, which is both very sad and also very cute. I admit, watching the Waddle Dees do forced labor is pretty cute. But also, I think about the portrayal of Bowser in the Mario movie, the Illumination animated Mario movie, and how stark of a difference there is, because Bowser, he is more cruel or uncaring than Dedede is, for sure, which makes sense. Bowser's more of a straight villain than Dedede is. Like, you always fight Dedede, but like you said, it's almost always either a misunderstanding or a mind control thing. But I forget which enemy it is in the Mario movie. Maybe it's Spinies, but Bowser says something like he's rallying his troops and like, hey, the Goombas, like, yeah, woo, the Hammer Bros, woo. And then he's like, and whatever those guys are, and it's like the Spinies or something, and they're like, oh, like Bowser wouldn't do that. Like no version of Bowser previously would like diminish his minions like that, like just for their own existence. I know this sounds crazy. I know we're getting real in the weeds with like Nintendo game characters and how they treat their underlings, but like,
this is what I was born to talk about, Matt, so
like, again, in any, Bowser gets the most characterization in any of like the Mario RPGs, and like, yeah, again, he can be cruel and he can like mistreat his minions or whatever. The only person whose identity he mistakes is always Luigi. He would never mistake like his own troops. Like, he does care, even if he is, again, aloof, or that's probably not a strong enough word, but like he wouldn't call out his Spinies as like basically freaks or whatever. Right. And so I realized that the Mario movie is not canonical to anything. I mean, Mario is barely canonical to any other Mario thing anyway. But I didn't like that portrayal of Bowser. Like, that just felt like, and again, I understand that's like, it's a kid's movie and they're wanting an easy laugh of like, hey, look how weird these enemies look or whatever. But I didn't like it. Like, it felt very untrue to the character, even though in a lot of ways I think that movie did stay true to a lot of its characters. But that moment always stuck out like a sore thumb to me. And I always come back to the fact that Kirby would make a much better set of movies than Mario would, in terms of the fact that there's actual story that you could base stuff off of. But we don't need to get into that. But yeah, that's all just to say that yes, I also loved the portrayal of Dedede here.
Yeah, well, I mean, just you wait, Matt, until we get to the Origami King episode of Bit Harmony, where we can really chew the fat on that game's message and the sort of the sort of deconstruction of what it means to be a part of Bowser's army, to be part of to be a grunt in a needless war, to be an expendable unit. The way that game meditates on all of those things, we'll get there one day.
We will, because I truly think Origami King is maybe the best Nintendo soundtrack ever. I really,
it's fantastic. Yeah,
I genuinely think that. Yeah, like honestly, Forgotten Land is one of the only competitors to it. Honestly, in terms of other Forgotten Land stuff, I think we've covered probably everything we need to. But is there anything specific you would want out of a direct follow up, whether that be like Forgotten Land 2 or just a follow up in that there's another 3D Kirby?
I would like, it'd be neat if they had more playable characters.
Yeah.
I always like it when I can play as Dedede, or I could play as Meta Knight or something, even if it's in a different mode. Like, truthfully, I was kind of hoping for some side mode or something to be unlocked, like after the end of the game, where I could play. Yeah, because Meta Knight is so mysterious in the game, and it's really common for us to get like the sort of, you know, Meta Knight's revenge mode or whatever. And so there was a part of me is like, oh, maybe like we'll unlock a little Meta Knight side story or something that we can tool around with. And I would have liked to see something like that, but it's like, it's that classic easy answer of just like, yeah, and the next one, just give me more, like more,
Right.
you know, more content. But yeah, more playable characters. Like, it'd be neat if, you know, presumably it'll be on Switch 2 when it happens. So it'd be neat if you could take advantage of the power of it, and like we could do 4-player co-op, and, you know, all of us can kind of, you could take that aspect of 2D side-scrolling Kirby and make it work in 3D. It'd be kind of neat. So yeah, I would like to see that.
Yeah, for me, it's mostly just more copy abilities / yeah, more playable characters. That is such a staple of Kirby to me, of like unlocking either a Dedede mode or a Meta Knight mode.
Right.
Again, Star Allies, you can play as like dozens of characters from across the whole series, and it's real cool. Again, they kind of have it in here with Bandana D as player 2, who does have his own completely unique moveset, and it is cool. But for one, I understand I'm a real freak when I say Bandana D is my favorite Kirby character. I don't know if anyone else says that. And also, yeah, it's stuck to player 2. You can't engage with it if you're just playing the game single player anyway.
Right.
So that doesn't really count. But there is something in there, and it is cool. Again, completely unique moveset. If you've never played as Bandana D, he's genuinely fun in this game. I played through the whole game in co-op with it, and pretty fun. And yeah, just more copy abilities, like,
right.
Give me Yo-Yo. At least give me Parasol. You have to give me Parasol. I think it's a travesty that Parasol is not in this game.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. I would just, yeah, I think we said it earlier, but I would love to just see some of the, like, a little more, like, left of center stuff, like Yo-Yo, Beetle. Like, I would love to see stuff like that in 3D.
Beetle in 3D. And yeah, you could just add in, like, give Beetle, like, fighter and grappler stuff, because that's already kind of what they did with it anyway. Like, you can have 3 different copy abilities represented with just the inclusion of Beetle. God, I always know when I need to stop because I sound breathless. I can hear it in my own voice that I'm very excited just talking about Kirby copy abilities. With that said, then, let's go on our last break of the episode. We've got Invasion at the House of Horrors by Jun Ishikawa. We got Roar of Dedede by Yuta Ogasawara. And Masked and Wild DDD
Yes.
by Yuki Shimuka. And we'll be back to talk about it. And that was Invasion at the House of Horrors, Roar of Dedede, and Masked and Wild DDD. All three of those were kind of hard to say. So I think we briefly talked about House of Horrors like a long time ago. I think Presto had sent a different Kirby Forgotten Land song, and then we ended up talking a little bit about this. I don't have too many notes. I do think this is, originally I'd written down, this is probably the coolest pick on the soundtrack. I take that back. I'm going to say this is the illest pick on the soundtrack.
Oh, sure.
Because that bass and synth are just downright nasty in this song. I also just really like around 122 when it starts getting all weird and glitchy for a bit.
Yeah.
Again, it does that thing you talked about earlier where it feels like the song is about to like loop again, but actually there's like another like 40 seconds of it that's like different than what you're expecting. I also just really love this level. Like it's a alien themed like fun house level in Wandaria. Just, I don't know. I really, again, this is another standout level for me in terms of like the presentation and the aesthetic and whatever.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the bass in this song is impossible to ignore. You can't not. That bass demands to be regarded. You know, it's just it's truly incredible. But the instrumentation of this feels so like 90s to me. Like this wouldn't feel out of place in Hypnospace. You know, like this kind of feels like a Toe Jam and Earl song or something, you know, like,
yeah,
there's something about it. Like, and yeah, I notated like that movement that kind of goes into the section you're talking about, where it plays like this kind of like 4-note descending synth. And then, yeah, it just kind of goes like, I don't know, like just full like 90s webpage kind of vibe to me. Like it reminds me of like, the feeling of going into a Scholastic book fair. If that had a song, like if that had a sound to it, that was what this reminded me of.
That also makes sense because even like the House of Horrors itself, like it reminds me, you know, on episodes of the Rugrats when it would give the title, it was on that kind of like nauseating like splash screen, and there'd be all these like squiggles and planets and stuff. That's kind of what it reminds me of here. It's so like it looks like it's carpeted. Like
it's like a cosmic bowling alley kind of thing.
Yeah, very like glow in the dark and neon-y. Yeah, that's exactly what it's going for.
Yeah, just something about it reminds me of like childhood. Like it's real bassy and nasty, of course, but but there's something about it just also reminds me of like being a kid in the 90s. It just has that kind of vibe. Yeah,
it's perfect. Maybe the headcanon is with how much like 90s nostalgia there is, maybe humans left this planet in the 90s and that's why everything is just kind of stuck like this. With Roar of Dedede, I guess we can just talk about Roar of Dedede and Masked and Wild together, since it's basically just Masked and Wild is the phase 2 of the second Dedede fight anyway. Yeah, this is just a really damn good Dedede arrangement. I think Roar of Dedede is maybe my favorite version ever, at least
hands
in an
down
official
for me.
capacity. Yeah, like we talked about how much electric guitar stuff is in this game, but it really ratchets up in this. Like 40 seconds in, when the guitar licks just start really licking, it genuinely gives me goosebumps. And then the lead into the main part of the song with like Dedede actually roaring. Like I know it's called Roar of Dedede, but the fact that there is an actual Dedede roar in here it rules. Yeah, there's no other word for it.
So good. I love that. There's something primal to it. Like the fact that he's roaring in the song, like he's kind of just roaring on the beat. The percussion is like an anvil noise, like sort of thing. And like, yeah, just heavy electric guitar. When the horns come in around the minute mark, I just like, it's like an out of body experience. I begin to ascend when those horns come out. It's and so like it just, to me, the reason I would consider this to be my favorite Dedede theme is because it conveys his tone really perfectly to me. It is the appropriate amount of gravitas, of scariness, also kind of goofiness. Because as hard as that is when he's yelling, it's also stupid. He's a penguin. You know what I mean?
And also he's wearing like a pig mask and like running around on all fours and stuff.
Right.
Like it's
Oh yeah. When he started running around all fours, I lost my mind, dude. I was like, this is awesome. And that's just, to me, that's the best thing about him as a character. He's like, he contains multitudes. Like he's this perfect balance
he can
of
walk on two legs or all four.
That really sums him up. He has all of this stuff. He's goofy, he's scary, he's cute, he's intimidating, but he's got this depth to him. And yeah, like on that same note, Masked and Wild, like Masked Dedede has been remixed like a million times in a million different Kirby games, but I think that this version of the song is the first one that really like recaptured the way that I felt when I heard the original for the first time, just like the frantic and intimidating energy of it. It's got a real good like bassy breakdown around 30 seconds in. The guitars start to like harmonize with the horn passages, and man, it is just real good. Like there's no shortage of great like Dedede related music, but to me it really, like, I don't know how they're gonna top it like in whatever comes next. Like this is like the height of Dedede related music to me.
Yeah, Dedede does it better. That's how else can you sum it up?
If you take nothing else away from this episode.
With that, let's head on over to the YouTube comment oversharing corner for this episode. As a reminder, this is the section of the show where we read off any funny or memorable or interesting or downright insane comments we stumbled across while grabbing songs for this episode. We talked about this a little bit the other day before we recorded this, that I couldn't find that many, like, there's no dead grandma ones in this one. Like, most of the comments I was finding were just like cute or sweet. You know, there wasn't anything too over the top or insane. So I think we're probably going to go through these pretty quick, which is maybe good because we have a lot here. I'll start us off with YouTube user all plus Ome minus.
I think it's all plus some minus.
All plus some minus, but yeah, okay, there's only two S. I get it.
Yeah.
Commented on Abandoned Beach 2 years ago, just says Ishikawa-san snapped, which I just love the Japanese honorifics in English coupled with snapped. That's fantastic.
The back-to-back, like, honorific and slang back-to-back. I also, it's always really funny to me when somebody, like you don't know him. You know what I mean? Like, when they say, like, san or, like, senpai or sensei or something, it's like, you know these people, dude.
So, yeah, in this case, I'll just assume he's being funny, because
I think so, yeah.
But it does remind me of, I don't know if you've ever seen this video, at E3 like 2000 or 2001 at the Nintendo conference, like back when it was way smaller of a thing and they weren't even doing like full on stage presentations. Like it was almost more of like a business presentation. Like journalists could just like ask questions of Miyamoto at E3. Mm-hmm. And obviously Bill Trinen was on stage, and the idea was you ask it in English and Bill Trinen will translate it. And this one dude was insisting in speaking horrible broken Japanese to Miyamoto. It is maybe the cringiest video I've ever seen in my life, and I don't want to inflict that on anyone, but that's what it reminds me of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, more power to you. I think they were just being funny, but it is just, It always gives me pause when I see that. Okay. We've got a comment here from that one persona 6865 who commented on Invasion at the House of Horrors 2 years ago. I love how you have games like Resident Evil where the music makes you realize that it's just you, the darkness, and the monsters coming to get you. But then you have Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which has this.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly right. I mean, I will say, you know, in the area of that level that is meant to be more scary, when you have the light bulb mouthful mode, like that is playing a different song. I think that was the song Presto requested months ago. That is more like typically scary than Invasion at the House of Horrors, but the point still stands that it is funny that this is meant to be like, again, not scary, but it is like the slightly creepier, like slightly off level, and it's playing this like bomb ass synth and funk, right?
Yeah, it's good stuff.
We've got YouTube user Ray Gurin commented on Northeast Frost Street 2 years ago. I could not for the life of me find the second snow animal in this level. But with such a gorgeous OST, I didn't mind replaying this stage multiple times. So what he's referring to is that one of the secret Waddle Dees to rescue, you have to rescue by like destroying, I think, 3 snowmen, basically.
Right.
And one of them is hidden very well, and it's probably the second one. And I will say, I do remember having this exact same issue the first time I played through the game. And I just thought it was a cute summation of how I feel about the game. Like, in other games, I would get annoyed. Even other Kirby games, if I miss one of the secret doodads, I sometimes get annoyed of like, oh, I have to do that whole damn level again. And here, I never once felt that ever. Even when you start getting into the stuff like, beat a boss without getting hit, I genuinely never minded, not once, on my first time through, having to go back into levels like that.
Yeah, no, me either. Yeah, I found they're always a joy to replay, and most of them, once you know your way around, you get through them pretty quick anyway.
Right.
So, it's not a big deal. YouTube user StarRod1396 commented on Metro on Ice 2 years ago. Northeast Frost Street is such a beautiful level to go skating with the ice ability around the place. Not gonna lie, our NGL, I guess. My fave Catful level.
the literally the only reason I added this comment was because I'd never seen Kirby in the Forgotten Land abbreviated as Catful, and I'm doing, I'm producing a Kirby in the Forgotten Land podcast. I'm playing Kirby in the Forgotten Land, replaying it. I'm looking at comments, and I still didn't realize for a solid 5 seconds what the hell Catful was. I'm like, oh, it's Kirby in the Forgotten Land. Yeah, duh. Though I do agree with Starrod that it is a really good ice skating level. They specifically have the ice ability all around, and they give you multiple kind of like skating rinks,
open
full of
areas.
Yeah. But I quite liked that Catful abbreviation.
Catful,
YouTube user Mooney commented on Welcome to Wandaria 2 years ago. You'll notice that all of these are 2 years ago because the game is just about to hit 3 years old in a couple months. Again, Welcome to Wandaria 2 years ago. I love this song and this world, but it's honestly just so hard for me to listen to. Imagine what this theme park would have been like before everything was lost. How much joy and fun there was everywhere, and now it's all abandoned. Reclaimed by nature, all quiet, some attractions still running and a few inhabiting it, but all the pure happiness that was once there is long gone now, and all that's left is hollow memory and melancholy. And yes, we talked about that with the Alivel Mall more so than Welcome to Wandaria, but I do really think about that, especially like you said, when you're rescuing the ducks at the start. It does make me think about like how kind of sad and empty the whole place is, even though there is still life teeming here. Yep,
I'm with you, and it does make you think that, and the music I think makes you think that. It definitely conveys that. Yeah. YouTube user Orange849 commented on Roar of Dedede 2 years ago. Just so you know, due to time dilation, Dedede was in the Forgotten Land for 5 months before Kirby arrived.
So, the reason I added this is this was a whole thread of replies to this, of people asking for confirmation where he got the information, blah, blah, blah. I just like talking about Kirby lore. Basically, this is like a Nintendo Dream interview with, I don't know, one of the directors, I'm not sure who it was, that it got translated as like Dedede was there 5 months before Kirby was. It is true that Dedede did get sucked in before Kirby did, and yes, there's probably some time dilation, so Dedede hasn't been here for a while. But as user Orange 849 later admits down the thread that it is more implied that it was 5 months as opposed to outright stated. So
thank you for the clarification,
Yeah.
Orange. Yeah.
that I love Kirby lore. If y'all couldn't tell from that like 15-minute session we had up there, and I just love that like the YouTube comments were getting into specifically how long Dedede was in the Forgotten Land before Kirby arrived.
Yeah, I wish that I could like explain to my nephews that just play Kirby like very casually that somewhere out there people are talking about time dilation as it relates to Kirby.
I also love like, just so you know, due to time dilation, like that's like was your boss is delivering you news. Just so you know, you have to punch in your time cards differently
Right.
this month, like due to time dilation.
So matter of fact, yeah, just so you know. Yeah.
YouTube user Lincina commented on a trip to Alivel Mall 2 years ago. Local squishy pink ball death god enters the store, terrorizes the entirety of customers, takes all the food, then leaves the mall with a giant hole in the wall. So I do want to note that, yeah, when you're in both of the mall levels, there are multiple instances of like enemies sitting at tables and it looks like they're about to eat like popcorn or hamburgers or ice cream, and that like you can just run around taking it, and it makes me feel real bad. Like it, because like they look so happy and cute and that they're about to eat food. So it genuinely makes me feel bad. So like unless I'm low on health, which I'm not low on health this early in the game, I never take the food because it just makes me feel bad.
It's just funny to me, like that sort of notion of like breaking down what exactly it is Kirby did. And like you don't really think about it in the moment, but you're like, oh yeah, right, like I almost wish the camera could hang on that mall for a couple extra minutes after Kirby bounced, Yeah,
the owner of the ice cream shop comes out and sees the whole wall torn down, and he's like,
what happened here? Yeah, I love that thought. Okay, the last comment here, it'll be obvious why I chose this comment.
I also just want to say I'm so glad you get to read this one. Yeah.
This comes from YouTube user iHasKerbro, who commented on Roar of Dedede 2 years ago. Dedede at first, he was nothing special, a mundane life form, weak in comparison to Kirby, a god. However, his strength only grew from there, and it grew more and more. He is the king. He decided to become stronger, cementing his place in history. He becomes one of the strongest beings on the planet, a threat to Kirby at this point. Yes, through sheer willpower, training, and ability, he becomes a threat to a god, in all caps. While Kirby has won every bout, he still had to try, to struggle, to fight. The king has rightfully taken his place amongst the strongest of beings. A king may yield before a god, but he remains a king. Long live the King of Dreamland. May his strength continue to grow.
So I will say, I think this is actually cool, and I'm definitely going to have to edit in Roar of Dedede specifically behind this comment, because I actually think it would sound cool with Roar of Dedede behind it. This comment actually kind of rules. I hadn't read the whole thing. I wanted to hear it when one of us read it for the first time. So I'm glad that's how I got to enjoy it. I will say it reminds me of one of the Smash Bros. Trophy descriptions of Dedede that says like he copied Kirby's ability to inhale enemies, but not the copy ability. Right. Because Dedede is already a perfect being, so there's no reason to change his form.
I agree. Yeah, I just loved that comment. I loved how like hard in the paint they went on that, and it felt like a motivational speech, and that's why I wanted to read it that way. Like, I feel like I could run a mile right now, dude. Like, I could just do laps around my apartment complex right now after reading that.
It was a great comment. I honestly, I think I'm going to add this one to the Hall of Fame that I'm building, at least for this season. So
it's a good one.
Thank you, I has Kerbro. It was a pretty damn good one. With that said, that was the YouTube comment oversharing corner for this episode. When it comes to voicemails, we have one bot harmony thing that's very stupid that we'll get through in like 2 seconds.
Right.
I wanted to quickly address. Seth and I talked about this. Multiple people were talking about wanting to call in because they love Kirby Forgotten Land, but no one did, which is fine. But I want people to understand, if you'll want to respond to an episode, you can also do that. Like, for one, if you want me to play Kirby music on an unrelated, non-Kirby themed episode, that just means we get to play more Kirby music in unrelated episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you don't ever feel the need to like get something in just to get something in. Like, if you don't have the time, that's totally fine. And if you want to respond, you have a good 2 weeks to respond to the Kirby and the Forgotten Land episode, or technically you have till the end of time to respond to the Kirby and the Forgotten Land episode. If you listen to this 6 months later and you want to write in a response to Kirby and the Forgotten Land, we might not remember what you're talking about when you respond to it, but you can still do that. It's fine. So don't ever feel like time pressure or whatever. And again, I think more people responding directly to episodes would actually be pretty cool anyway, instead of trying to get them in the specific episode. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, I mean, send in whatever you want, whenever you want. We're pretty loose about it. And if it comes in late, we'll just put it in the next episode. It's not a big deal. And like, I think even like Flightsy was talking about calling in for this one, and Flightsy was like, what's the format? And I was like, there is no format, dude. Yeah. We just play these voicemails and respond to them.
You don't even, and to emphasize again, you don't even need to send in music requests. If you just want to talk about Kirby in general or Forgotten Land, or if you want to talk about something unrelated, again, you can send in literally whatever you want to the voicemail, as long as it's not like unsavory or whatever. We'll play it and we'll respond to it. So yeah, don't think too hard about it, is what I'm saying.
We could not be more loose when it comes to this. We'll figure it out. It's all good. There's enough stress in this world. Bit Harmony voicemails should not be on that list of things to be stressed about. But
Boog sent in a voicemail about drinking milk, so
that's true. Yeah, that's true. With that being said, if you do want to leave voicemails, you can do that a couple of different ways. You can send them to our email inbox at bitharmonypod@gmail.com. You can do it that way if you want to like record it on your computer. Some people have done that. Or you can call in on your phone, on your telephone device, to 216-230-8540. That number again is 216-230-8540. Reminder, keep those less than 3 minutes because it'll cut you off at 3 minutes. And yeah, you can always do that. And you can also, if you want to, text that number, and your text will be read by Bot Harmony, our faithful robot. And we do have a Bot Harmony to get to. Should we hear what Bot Harmony has to say?
Yeah, this came from our most beloved fan, biggest viewer or biggest listener of Bit Harmony.
Yeah, they sent some really thoughtful feedback for this episode that I think we can really chew on. So let's get into it.
Chili's, Macedonia. You've joined the wait list. Check your place in line. We'll text when table ready. Reply 3 to cancel. Stop to end messages. Chili's, Macedonia. Your table is ready. Please see the host to be seated. Discover popular dishes. Reply 3 to cancel.
So, yeah, clearly someone put the wrong number in for their wait list at Chili's. I will also note that we had a missed call, which I'm assuming is from Chili's trying to tell this person that their table was ready.
There's no better. It could not have been a better restaurant than Chili's. Like, Chili's is the perfect restaurant to get an accidental Bot Harmony.
Where I lost it the most was imagining the poor employee calling the number and then getting the voicemail about the all-in media conglomerate.
What the hell is this, dude? Like, could you imagine just because you've been to a Chili's, like the employees are wearing like all black and like they have a little like, towel on their arm. I'm just imagining this very like well put together dude at the front desk, like trying to call about the reservation or whatever. And just hearing my voice over like the tinny Google voice talking about the all-in media conglomerate. Oh my God. This is so good. I'm so happy that this has happened, and like, that's the kind of thing that like I truly, when we created like a phone number for people to call in, I don't know if I expected stuff like this to happen, but I'm overjoyed that it has.
It's weird, I've had obviously like people mistakenly put my number in before, but I feel like it didn't happen with this frequency. This has happened like 3 times now.
I love it.
And every time it's been entertaining in a different way.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love it. So we'll see if we get more calls from Chili's. We'll let y'all know. But I guess that's gonna do it for this one, huh? Should I go ahead and get into the patron stuff?
Yeah, though I regret now not looking up the Chili's menu ahead of time and having a debate about what Kirby would order at Chili's, but it's fine. It's too late.
Oh, yeah, that's a shame. Maybe we'll have to we can pin that and come back to it in the postmortem on the next episode.
Hey, if you want to send in any voicemails about what you think Kirby would order at Chili's, please. But you have to give reasoning.
Yeah, because if you don't, you better believe we will take you to task for it.
We'll extrapolate way too much from nothing. Yeah.
We'll talk for 30 minutes about Kirby's Chili's order. Okay. Well, yeah, that'll do it for that then. Yes, of course you can support us on Patreon for early access and other exclusive perks. We get a 7-day free trial over there to the Golden Banana and Triforce tiers. You can get access to the BitHar Mini, which is exclusive to Patreon at those tiers on the Earthblade soundtrack that we're going to be doing next week. So you're going to want to join the Patreon and check that out. Again, even if you just check out the 7-day free trial, we encourage you to do that. It's patreon.com/allinmedia. We've got links in the show notes for that too. You can also join the Discord, which is completely for free, and you can chat with other people. You can harangue us about Kirby or whatever you want to talk about over there in the Discord. But yes, another perk over there on Patreon is you get shout outs at the end of the podcast, like this one right here. So let's do that. Thank you to our Golden Banana tier supporters like Big Dogs Only, Bill Tucker, SAZ, Gamer Jason, Liam D, Marcus O'Neill, Phelan Ward, Rob Yapel, Shy Guy, thank you Shy Guy, Sean Ashton, and Sparky. And thank you to our Triforce tier supporters like Adam Caparello, Bowza, Dan and Luma, Danielina Hosa, Foolish Fuji, John Cummins, Josh Vaughn, Ligerwoods 330, and Uncle Randy. We appreciate y'all for your support over there on Patreon. Again, patreon.com/allinmedia, 7-day free trial. Join their ranks. Check out all the stuff. Look forward to BitHar Mini. We appreciate the support.
Also worth noting, next week, we're planning on doing another end season. Is that right?
That's right, yeah. So we do All In Side Quest, which is like a non-Tendo podcast over there on Patreon as well, and that is exclusive to those tiers too. And Matt and I will be going through the non-Nintendo stuff, so like PlayStation games, Xbox games, movies, music, television shows coming up in the spring 2025 season that we're excited about. So that'll be coming up soon. Also, our patrons get to vote on tier lists ideas every month that I do on the YouTube channel, and tomorrow night at the time we're recording this, I'm going to be ranking all 413 Animal Crossing New Horizons villagers because Fulia submitted the topic on Patreon. So
thank you. Thank God for that, Fulia. I can't wait.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. I can't wait either. We'll see how that all goes, but yeah, so we try to do as much as we can over on Patreon. So if all you do is listen to Bit Harmony, we appreciate it, but there's much more waiting for you if you choose to support us. So yeah, thanks.
Especially next week. Next week is going to be a treasure trove if you like this energy, I think.
Right.
Also, I didn't think about it. that Fulia was the one that requested it, she must like Eugene, right? Because he's a koala. Also, he likes music. Like, Eugene is, let me preface this, Eugene is the best Animal Crossing villager, and it's not even particularly close. I want to know what Fulia thinks about Eugene.
We'll find out. You can send in a voicemail about that, Fulia, or otherwise let us know what your favorite Animal Crossing villager is. I will say, Matt, when Matt found out that I was doing this Animal Crossing tier list, he said, "You better put Eugene where I want on the tier list, or I'll kill you."
Yeah, I think that was verbatim. It's just like, Sean Capri posting on Blue Sky about us giving Mario 2 a C-. Like, no, I'm cranking it up. If I can spice it up, I'm gonna spice it up. We're going to death threats now. That's the level that
my life is always in danger just talking about video games on the internet.
Speaking of talking about video games on the internet and maybe our lives being in danger, the next full episode of Bit Harmony will be going up on April 6th. God, already April. That's going to be crazy. It is. That's going to be on Sephony, which is from Analgesic Productions, the same developers that did Anodyne 2, which was our second episode, but like our first real episode of the show about a year ago, actually a little under a year ago.
Is that right?
Yeah, I purposely planned it out. So, hey, I think about these things a lot without actually externally talking about them. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's around the year mark, I think. I'd have to look exactly. But yeah, we're talking about Stephanie. Again, you and I both love Analgesic Productions games. I also, on top of it being about the 1 year anniversary of the show, I just wanted to get another one of these out of the way before Angeline Era comes out, because that's supposed to be out in summer or fall, and we will absolutely be covering that like day one, basically, or week one, whatever. But yeah, April 6th, Stephanie, be there. I'm really looking forward to that one.
Can't wait.
Are we ready for the haikus then?
Yes. If it's okay with you, I'd like to go first because mine's stupid. And yours is probably better.
Is it an ode to Dedede?
Yes, but it's more. It is involving Dedede, unsurprisingly. But but this was very much like I don't know. It's not like it's not my best work. I don't feel like, but
sure.
I wanted to throw a little something in there to illustrate kind of my what I would say about this haiku. Is I think that it is an internal monologue of Dedede and my favorite moment in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. The king has 2 rules. Snacks for every Waddle Dee. No one left behind.
I think that's good. I like that. Anytime you're able to incorporate, I mean, again, in a haiku, Waddle Dee, that's a lot of real estate in a haiku. It
took up a lot. Yeah, it was an expensive one. Yeah.
No, I like that. I thought that was cute. For mine, I knew kind of what I wanted to go for, but I didn't know how to make it like brief and not be too heady. If I'm honest, it was meant to combine how I felt going through Forgotten Land, using Tornado as my main weapon, while also thinking about the state of the world at large right now. So,
oh my god.
Yeah. This is how that went. No meager spring breeze. Weaponize your foes. Unleash. Rage on Tornado.
Man, I'm so glad we ended with yours. Yours is way better than mine, dude. Come on, no meager spring breeze. I talked about snacks. Yours is way better.
I think people can relate to snacks and no one left behind. Also, there's hope. There's hope in I have the rage and you have the hope in no one left behind and rulers actually caring about the people that they're in charge of. I think that's a nice balance. If
only that were represented in our real world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Even a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that the script was flipped a little bit this episode then compared to the last one.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Taking you out this episode, though I do want to talk about it very, very briefly before we end it, is Welcome to the New World full from Kirby and the Forgotten Land. This is the opening theme and the full version being the end credits theme. This was by Naichel, Shinya Kumazaki, Tadashi Ikegami, Taro Nagata, and Yuta Ogasawara. However, when looking something up, I don't even remember how I ended up here, but I ended up on the Kirby, on the Nightshell page.
Shoutouts to Kirby, by the way. Just real quick, don't use the fandom wikis. Fandom wikis suck, man.
They're awful.
Like, fandom is awful, ad-ridden, garbage. Kirby is the way to go.
Also, the name is fantastic. Yeah, Kirby rules. So anyway, I ended up on the page for Nightshell on Kirby. I'll just read this basically verbatim. Nightshell is a mentioned character in Kirby and the Forgotten Land. She is a famous diva from the New World and the singer of Welcome to the New World. However, at the time of the game's main story, she is no longer around and she can't be met in the game, nor can any depictions of her be found. Nightshell is not actually her real name, but a stage name instead. In the language of her civilization, it means nature or fresh greenery. The Japanese and Korean names for natural plains use Nightshell instead of natural. Nightshell is portrayed by Sammy, the real person who actually sang Welcome to the New World. Her real identity is not mentioned in-game, she is simply credited as Nightshell, but was revealed in the booklets for Kirby and the Forgotten Land sound selection and Kirby and the Forgotten Land, the complete soundtrack. This is what really got me. In addition, Sammy made a surprise appearance in character as Nightshell at the Kirby 30th Anniversary Music Festival, where she, along with Makiko Omoto, sang special live performance Welcome to the New World. Her real identity was kept secret, and she wore a dark green ball gown with a matching wide-brimmed hat to hide her face. And when you go on the Wikirby page for this, you can see pictures. I remember seeing this. Like I did watch this, and I didn't realize as someone that loves Kirby lore, I didn't realize that Nightshell was a character in universe for Kirby. I thought that was like the performer's name or whatever in the real world. So I wasn't even aware of this until earlier today. I love stuff like this. I love the lore notes and the blending of the real world and the fiction, and the fact that the actual performer performed as this character, but in disguise at an actual performance. I love Kirby. There's nothing else for me to say.
Yeah. Music rules, man. Like that's just the kind of thing that could only happen in this way. Mm-hmm. I had no idea the backstory. I do remember that. Like that was an awesome that performance. I remember being up at like 5 a.m. and watching that.
Yeah.
It was so good, and yeah, really cute how like Makiko Omoto, by the way, is the voice of Kirby. So just very cute. The whole thing was just so well done, and yeah, it was great. I love this.
Just amazing. So thank you all again for listening, taking us out. Welcome to the New World Full. We'll see you next time. For Stephanie, see ya. Bye.
Bye.
Dedede does indeed do it better.
Mm-hmm.